10 o'clock. Good morning from the Circus Sports Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Trade deadline in the NFL, and the Titans have already made a move, shipping outside linebacker Draymond Jones to the Ravens for a conditional fifth that could become a fourth. That original fifth-rounder involved belongs to the Jets, and it could become the Ravens' fourth-round pick. The Dallas Cowboys, who fell to the Arizona Cardinals last night, 27-17, have also completed a trade for Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson for a seventh-round pick. He will be competing with former Titans linebacker Kenneth Murray for the starting spot in Dallas. Trade deadline ends today at 3 p.m., so plenty of time for the Titans to make another potential move. Vols basketball season tipped off last night with a 76-61 win over the Mercer Bears. Nick Ament, 18 points, 9 boards in the win. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Happy trade deadline day in the NFL. And congratulations to all involved. You don't have to hear Buck say another word for the rest of the week. Lucas Panzica and Robert Walsh with you until 1 o'clock through Friday before Buck unfortunately comes back from his little Miami vacation next week. He's always had this thing where he's puffed out his chest about, I don't like vacations. I don't take vacations. Like he's this worker bee that just can't stay away. But off he goes to South Beach as the Titans make moves, not plural yet, just the one. Draymond Jones on the way to Baltimore. We'll get Robert's reaction on that, but there is much to discuss. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We are, of course, on 104.5 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, and the conditions have come out for the Draymond Jones trade to Baltimore.
Yes, the Titans, who sent Draymond Jones to the Ravens in exchange for a conditional fifth. Baltimore sending the fifth that they have, 2026 fifth, from the Jets, but there are conditions that could make it a fourth-round pick, so please do tell.
If the Ravens make the playoffs and Draymond Jones has 2+ sacks for the rest of the year, that fifth will become a fourth. Yes, that's right, Titans fans. You have to root for the Ravens to make the playoffs to get a better draft pick.
So there you go. Who had that, the conditions on the pick or on the trade?
Tom Pelissero.
Tom Pelissero. Okay, there you go. Ravens got to make the playoffs, and he's got to have 2 sacks the rest of the regular season for the player that has 4.5 sacks in the last 4 games, the best such stretch of Draymond Jones' NFL career, 28 years old, signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Titans. Now he's on the move. The perfect kind of player that you move in a situation like this, right? On deadline day, 1-year deal, 28 years old, can still be of use to a team like the Ravens that's still pushing for something and can get you closer to that goal of 30 draft picks in 3 years. So we'll see if anything else comes down. But what was your reaction to this? Much needed?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The Ravens are kind of in a tough spot right now after the loss of Nnamdi Madubuike on their defensive line, trading Awe away. They had a dearth of experience at that position, so they needed somebody to step in. Right now, without blitzing, they have the league low pressure rate at 17.6. League averages have been 20%, so well below league average. They had to make a decision, and this kind of works with the Ravens' multiple front, where he didn't do a lot of this here, but he could be used to rush inside on third downs, could be something that could give them a multiple front. So as a Ravens fan, I am happy with it, or if I was a Titans fan, I would be happy with the return because it was a 1-year deal. The dude was expiring. You got a ton of cap space next year, so even if the dude walked and you got a comp pick, you would probably cross those out with the signings you're going to make in free agency anyway. So getting a pick now that could become a better pick makes a lot of sense to me for the Titans front office.
Now, to be clear, the Titans, if those conditions are not met, the pick will be the Jets' 2026 fifth. So it'll be a good fifth-round draft pick, right?
Very high in the fifth round.
High end. But if it turns into a fourth, it will be the Ravens' fourth.
Correct. So that would be somewhere. And I wonder if and the conditions might get speculated on later, if they would get a conditional compensatory pick or a compensatory pick. They are not scheduled to get one now. They're scheduled to get 2 fifth-rounders, but those things can change. But I would expect it to be. So if the Ravens made the playoffs, you would be picking somewhere between 21 and 32 in the fourth round.
Right. So it's either a high-end fifth or it is a lower-end fourth, kind of in the range where you grabbed Alec Iomanner, right? In that like late 120, early 130 range. But that's what the Titans are looking for, and they got it. And Draymond Jones, their most sellable asset, and this is a credit to Draymond Jones in the way that he's emerged over the last few weeks. Jeffrey Simmons aside, and we've seen reporting, we've heard at every turn that Jeffrey Simmons is not a player the Titans are interested in moving. So Simmons aside, safe to say Draymond Jones has made himself the most attractive asset on the Titans roster, right? When you consider the other candidates, Arden Key, a guy who is sidelined with a hamstring, has missed multiple games, but his name keeps getting brought up. Albert Breer with some more nuggets on that we'll get to. We've got deadline headlines coming up in the next segment. By the way, end of the hour, oh no. What do we have to give away?
We got as usual, you got your $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace and a spa, and also tickets to go see OAR, who I was not familiar with, but you let me know that they have plenty of bangers.
Oh yeah, OAR, a middle school staple of mine.
Would you give us a rendition of your favorite OAR song?
This town, this city, this crowd. It's not ringing a bell.
It sounded like Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, it does turn into. It devolved into
and
Hootie.
The dolphins make me cry. Only thing I do.
I feel like everybody can do a Hootie impression.
Oh yeah, you just have to sound like an owl as a person. Like genuinely, I've never even thought about that Hootie. That's kind of how he sounds.
With all respect in the world to Darius Ruckert, Hootie and the Blowfish.
Do not call him Hootie. Do not call him
to his
Hootie.
face?
No, he hates it.
Is there proof of this?
Yep. You haven't seen this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, my God. He cannot stand. He is. My name is not Hootie. That was just the name of the band. Hootie and the Blowfish. Do not call. He gets perturbed to the nth degree.
Well, he's made a great career for himself in terms of his solo career, so I don't blame him.
Stealing Wagon Wheel from Old Crow Medicine Show. Great job.
Darius
Great job,
Rucker's got some bangers of his own, too.
Sing one. There's nothing I can do.
All right, we're 615-737-1045. That's how you jump in. So the Titans moved Draymond Jones. This news came down last night. I was over at the Curb Center doing sidelines for Belmont basketball. Had a great time over there. Appreciate them for having me. Steve Lehman and Greg Sage on the call as Belmont opened the season with a win over Air Force, 79-63. They host Tennessee State on Saturday. Battle of the Boulevard coming up in a couple of weeks, Belmont and Lipscomb. Basketball is here. Does it sneak up on you as much as it sneaks up on me in that early November stretch where suddenly everybody's starting their season?
It's kind of like the Dwight meme where Angela's like right over her shoulder, like, oh God! Like, yeah, basketball comes up and grabs me every single time. I didn't get to watch any of it last night though, so I need you to fill me in on the Vols hoops happenings and anything else that happened in the league. I did see Florida went down though.
Florida went down. Auburn barely surviving at home against, is it Bethune-Cookman?
There you go. I got to look up the player that played there.
Bethune-Cookman, 95-90 in overtime for Auburn. 20th ranked Auburn on Stephen Pearl's coaching debut.
The old Colt safety Bethea. Is it Antoine Bethea? He went to Bethune-Cookman.
Okay. Nice pull by you. But yeah, Florida, the defending national champs, go down 93-87 to a good Arizona team. Neutral site game, Hall of Fame series game in Vegas. Tennessee takes care of business at home, 76-61. Vols, a lot of turnovers. Rick Barnes was perturbed post-game at the 19 turnovers that led to 16 points for the Mercer Bears. But Tennessee gets it done. The preseason number 18 team in the country, and amen, as advertised. 6 of 11, 18 points, 9 rebounds. Tennessee, 49% from 3 on the day. And we're going to get Slay in here at some point this week. He was in Charlotte doing some studio work for SEC Network last night as the basketball season opened up. But I think this is the best front court of the Rick Barnes era, the deepest, the most versatile. You talk about guys that can step out and hit deep threes, that can come off the bench and provide a spark defensively, what they have in Felix Okpara and J.P. Estrella and Cade Phillips, and not even mentioning Nate Ament and Jalen Carey, the Vanderbilt transfer. So good crowd at Thompson Bowling Arena yesterday as Tennessee gets started, and a lot of moving parts and pieces. Tennessee has a chance to kind of ease into the season before they really heat up in terms of their schedule. Games like Northern Kentucky and North Florida coming up before they really get rolling with number 2 Houston on the road, or that is the Thanksgiving weekend game. So that is at MGM Arena in Nevada. So that's going to be a tournament Thanksgiving week before Tennessee really gets tested. Vanderbilt taking care of business in a local affair, 105-61, the win over Lipscomb. And again, Belmont winners over Air Force. They're returning a lot of guys. Bruins got a chance to make some noise in the Missouri Valley Conference this year as they push for a spot in the NCAA tournament. Beautiful time of year. Beautiful time of year.
I've already made my first mistake of the show.
What'd you do?
He didn't go to Bethune-Cookman. He went to Howard. I was thinking of Nick Collins, the former Packer safety that had to retire very early.
Is that what led you to call Nate Ament Nick Ament in your top of the hour
update? I thought because Buck wasn't going to be here, we would just be able to brush mistakes off our shoulders.
Yeah, sorry.
In this locked-in room, no one can get to us, no mean thoughts. And you've just morphed into him. I thought you were better than this.
Et tu, Brute?
Yeah.
615-737-1045. That's how you jump in. Of course, on 1045 The Zone TV as well. There may be another added prize to layer into our Oh No giveaway coming up at 1045 as well. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Don't call yet. Not yet. We'll get to that at the end of the hour. But first, trade deadline headlines next.
It's time for Deadline Headlines with Lucas Panzica.
You've seen the trade by now. Titans moved Draymond Jones to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for a conditional fifth that could turn into a fourth. And we now know, courtesy of Tom Pelissero, that the conditions are Draymond Jones gets 2 or more sacks for the rest of the season, which would bring his total up to at least 6.5 sacks, which would be a career high, and the Ravens make the playoffs. Robert, how likely are both of those things by your estimation at this point?
Pretty likely, especially considering the guys they have playing outside linebacker right now. I think David Ojabo, who was a highly touted prospect, got hurt in the draft. Going into the draft, he has not really reached that ceiling. He played, I think it was 44% of their snaps, and he is just awful. So, I would expect him to take all of his snaps. I would expect him to get plenty of playing time, and especially with a team, we talked about their pressure rate earlier in the first segment. With the pressure rate that low, if Draymond can have any semblance of pressure, they're going to put him on the field. So I like that part of it. To make the playoffs, they just got to win the division. They're not going to get a 1 seed. They're not going to. If they don't win win their division, I don't think they get in as a wild card.
So, to your point, Titans fans now find themselves rooting for the Ravens to bump that pick up a few selections. And again, it is a few selections. It would go from being the Jets 2026 fifth to the Ravens 2026 fourth, which, we could be talking about, 10 picks at best in that scenario, because obviously the Ravens would have to make the playoffs, which would mean that it would be a lower-end fourth-round pick. But still, a fourth is a fourth. The Ravens go to Minnesota this weekend. They go to Cleveland the week after that. And then here's what the rest of the schedule looks like. Jets at home, Bengals at home, Steelers at home, Bengals road, Patriots home, Packers road, Steelers road. Manageable.
Very manageable. I think so. And they're getting healthy at the right time, and trade deadline's not over. I've got my fingers crossed that I wanted the Cardinals to lose so badly last night so that they would feel more comfortable with moving Calais Campbell. But I don't see that happening now. I just don't see. As far as what he brings to the culture, there was a trade in place last year for Calais Campbell from the Dolphins, and Mike McDonald nixed it right before it was able to cross the finish line. So and cited that he was too big of an impact on the locker room, which you're seeing the dividends of now, looking at Miami, how bad their locker room is.
BRC Collectibles on the F&M Bank chat, where you can chime in. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch on 104.5 The Zone TV says, I'm good with the fifth if it means the Ravens miss the playoffs. I can't root for the Ratbirds. Are Titans fans still kind of there? I don't know. We kind of throw that out there oh, Titans fans, you got to root for Baltimore. But I feel like most Titans fans are already wishing Derrick Henry success, right? With the state the Titans are currently in. I get it if you hate the Ravens and sort of the rivalry that's been. And yes, the Ravens continue to take good Titans players and turn them into Ravens legends. But I don't know how many Titans fans are are shaking their fists at the Ravens every Sunday as they watch.
Plenty of them.
Okay, I guess you're hearing from them.
Yeah, they're tweeting at me, sending me DMs.
All right, well, the F&M Big Chat's agreeing. So, all right. Well, it would behoove the Titans for the Ravens to make the playoffs and Draymond Jones to get 2 or more sacks.
No. Keep it. It's fine. Keep your fifth-round pick.
615-737-1045. Where are you at on that? Are you willing to sack?
Well, at least we can do the show for the YouTube. If you're not listening, the EAS broadcast going over the air. Yeah, is your microphone not turning on?
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended
Okay,
stem
we good?
cells. So I gave Kellum
think we're
Stem
good.
Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the court.
Yeah, it's really good.
I
Call
couldn't
the
hear it in
Kellum
my
Stem
studio.
Cell
That's
Institute
insane
today.
that you can't
Swing
hear
still
it from the
listens to
control
okay,
room. So you just thought I stopped talking?
Yeah, I thought your mic stopped working or something. And then you were like, oh, the EAS. I was like, oh, we'll just do the show for the YouTube chat. No big deal.
No emergencies. Everybody stay calm. The EAS alert test. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Hunter Hamlet on the F&M Bank chat says, we are not supporting the Ravens. Don't care about Derrick Henry. Okay. Well, I don't know. To me, it's worth the few picks of going from a fifth to a fourth, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Mike Herndon did a nice job of kind of breaking down the current situation for the Titans with the 2026 NFL draft. They currently have a first, a second, a third, a fourth, 2 fifths. Of course, as we've said, one of those can turn into another fourth, 2 sixths, and a seventh. So that's the situation at the moment as the Titans continue to march towards that 30 draft picks in 3 years goal. Herndon adds the Titans are now up to 24 total selections out of the 30 that Chad Brinker has stated as a goal from the 2025 through 2027 drafts. They have 9 of the 12 top 100 picks. That is the goal, again, stated by Chad Brinker over that same period. So if they want to reach that right now in this window, in this deadline that expires at 3 p.m. Central Time today, more moves would have to be made. In order to get to that top 100 picks goal today, obviously that move would have to include Jeffrey Simmons. And we have talked about Jeffrey Simmons as though he is completely off limits, no questions asked. But the more parts and pieces get traded away, the longer this rebuild seems to be, right? The more down to the foundation it seems to be. And I understand the principle of keeping Jeffrey Simmons, your biggest leader, your biggest culture setter, and right now, the best player on your team by a mile. It's not even close. The only player that would be considered a bona fide starter on virtually any other team in the National Football League. But is it as much of a slam dunk as we've made it out to be that Jeffrey Simmons simply just cannot be touched in this window? Because I have a hard time just putting those bars up when you look at just how long of a build out this is going to be. And let's say it's 2 years before the Titans are meaningfully competitive. And at that point, Jeffrey Simmons is 30 years old and no question still going to be effective. But when you think about what you could potentially get in return for Jeffrey Simmons, again, I understand, and even if you're talking about keeping things together culturally this year and into next year, and if Jeffrey's kind of going to be that sacrificial lamb, so to speak, but I don't know. I have a hard time wrapping my head around that as such a slam dunk that in no circumstance can you trade Jeffrey Simmons.
Okay, so you would be comfortable with trading him. If they traded him, you would understand the logic behind it.
Yeah, it's just kind of where they are. If the return is something that gets them to that goal.
So what would that return have to be for you?
Oof.
For you to feel okay about it? Because I feel like Titans fans would not be okay with them getting a second and third round pick.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you would have to get a first at least for people to make any sense of it. And then it would be a team like a bad team is not trading you their first because it would be a high draft pick. It would be a team like the Rams and a bleep those picks mentality where they just want to go all in, grab a guy like that can help them. So then even if you got a first, it would be a late first. Would that be okay with you? If you got, say, just for poots and giggles, let's say that you got the 25th overall pick for Jeffrey Simmons. Would that be okay with you?
If a first is involved, I think I could wrap my head around it. Yeah.
I could live with it, or I would be happy. I don't think anybody's going to be happy about this trade. That's why I think you can't trade him. There's already so much noise, already so much distractions around this team. My biggest worry with, and I understand you had to fire Callahan, you had to clear house, you had to trade a bunch of these players. I'm worried about buy-in, and is Cam, are these rookies, are people that you have developmental pathway in front of them, are they still bought in? Are they still getting better? Do you have the people to make them better? That's what I worry about. And you get rid of Jeffrey, I could understand how some of the buy-in on defense would be less.
Derek on the F&M Bank chat says a first and a day 3 pick is where it starts. Johnny says, I would take 2 seconds. Russell says a first and a third. Beluga Titan says a first and a day 2, even if it's a 2027, but you need 2 picks. Lonzo says 2 firsts or no deal. Emmett says a first and a second. So we're getting all sorts of scenarios thrown at us.
And the right answer is probably somewhere in the middle of all that, right? Like 2 firsts is probably a little too rich. 1 first is probably not enough to move the needle for the Titans. So, I mean, I would buy into the first and a day 3 pick. I think that's reasonable for a guy like that. He's a leader. He's a stalwart on your defense. You would have to get a return that is something that would make you go, I can't turn this down.
So meanwhile, as we talk about this, what's going on over in Dallas? Who lost on Monday Night Football last night to the Arizona Cardinals to drop to 3-5-1. Funniest record in the NFL this season, the Dallas Cowboys. 3-5-1, despite having one of the best scoring offenses in the NFL. Not last night. 27-17, Jacoby Brissett getting the job done. We mentioned yesterday that Kyler Murray is undefeated in Jerry World, going all the way back to high school, to Texas A&M and Oklahoma, and even 2-0 there as a Cardinal.
And now 1-0 on injured reserve.
I was going to say, does this count for Kyler?
No, he's not.
I think we should count it.
He should count.
I think it should count.
It's going to count. Don't baseball pitchers get a count? I guess they have to pitch in the game.
No, let's count it. Kyler's 3-0 in Jerry World as a Cardinals player.
Okay.
The Cardinals are 3-0 in Jerry World since they drafted Kyler Murray, number 1 overall in 2019. And meanwhile, Jerry Jones was on Sirius XM just a couple of days ago talking about the trade deadline. We don't have the audio of Jerry talking about it. We do have the audio from Monday Night Football last night. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Robert, you're giving me a blank stare.
I don't think I have it.
No. Perhaps not. I did send it in from
Okay. No, we got it.
Okay. This is Troy Aikman and Joe Buck talking about what Jerry Jones had to say about the upcoming trade deadline yesterday on Monday Night Football.
Jerry Jones made some news earlier today on Sirius XM, the Stephen A. Smith Show. We certainly have made a trade, and we may make a couple more trades before that deadline. We've made 1. We possibly could make 2 more. He's kind of left that out there, but not willing to name what the trade was tonight. That'll come out tomorrow.
Yeah, he may want to cancel that trade. I don't think one player from what I've seen tonight is going to make a difference for this group.
Dang, Troy Aikman's ruthless. Oh.
The Raiders sending wide receiver Jacoby Myers. He has requested a trade at the beginning of the season. He is getting his wish now to the Jacksonville Jaguars. With Travis Hunter out indefinitely, looking for a little more help at the wide receiver room. Makes a little bit of sense. New wide receiver in Duval.
And not a bad return. Jacoby Myers heads to Jacksonville in exchange for a 4th and a 6th round draft pick. Adam Schefter says multiple teams, including the Steelers and Jags, had shown interest in Myers, who is scheduled to become a free agent after his contract expires this season. One of the more underrated receivers, I think, across the NFL. Very quietly, a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Think he's made his wishes fairly public that he wanted out of Vegas, and for good reason. And now he heads to the AFC South. So the Titans will see him shortly.
Does this shock you at all? Like, I understand they Travis Hunter went down and they needed some help, but I thought Parker Washington was very serviceable in his absence. You've still got Brian Thomas Jr., who did not see the overwhelming amount of targets that we thought he would see with Travis Hunter out. I know they're dealing with some injuries at tight end, but it could be as simple as they need another target for Trevor Lawrence. But it just seems like this is I did not see it going this way. With all the teams that said they wanted to be in on wide receiver, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Jaguars are not the team that I had pegged to be the ones to give up these kind of assets for a wide receiver.
And the Jaguars survived by the skin of their teeth last weekend against the Raiders. Really a game they probably should have lost. Vegas somehow got down the field and scored at the end of overtime, and instead of going for the tie, they go for the 2-point in the win, which why not? They have 2 wins on the season. Tyler Lockett wide open in the end zone. Ball gets blocked, essentially, tipped at the line of scrimmage by a Jags defensive lineman. Jacksonville survives, and they move on. That got the Jags to 5-3 on the year, so they get wide receiver help. Yeah, I wonder what that says about Travis Hunter's injury, which was during practice last week, and it put him on IR, I believe Thursday is when the injury went down. So maybe a signal that the rookie is going to be out for quite some time, which for a guy that came in wanting to play both sides, and they kind of put their chips in on that and then started to dial it back a little bit, and then he goes down. And, I don't know that the injury would have anything to do with the wear and tear. We're halfway through his rookie season. For a guy that was pretty healthy throughout his college career, despite playing as much as he did on offense and defense, but that was the concern for Travis Hunter. And here he is on injured reserve. Jacoby Myers is a Jacksonville Jaguar. Okay. I wonder how many folks thought that was about to be the Cowboys making a big splash move as Jerry Jones teased one, and then they traded for Logan Wilson, the Bengals linebacker, the big splash move that Jerry Jones was talking about. He did come out and say that there are more trades in the works. He said that on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas earlier this morning. The Cowboys, go get the Bengals linebacker. We'll see what other moves they make as they fall to the Cardinals at home, but you heard it in that clip, Troy Aikman saying, I don't know what difference one player is going to make on this team. He was kind of going in on Dallas last night on the broadcast.
They have been putrid, man. And it all comes down to how much Micah covered up on that defense, whether it's Mozzie Smith, their former first-round defensive tackle out of Michigan, not getting a lot of play, and when he does play, he's ass. Whether their pass rusher's not playing well, the cornerbacks, whoever they have on big contracts, nobody's really participating on that defense. And then you look at linebacker, and Titans fans are all too familiar with the reason that they are not reaching the peaks that they thought they would reach, while Kenneth Murray is starting at middle linebacker for you.
That's right. Titans legend. And you know what the Titans have that you can never take away from them this year?
What's that?
A transitive property win over the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go.
That's right.
You'll take it.
You can't take it away. The Titans winners over the Cardinals. We all remember that game a few weeks ago. Shout out to Amari DiMercato, who did not get cut after that disastrous fumble over the goal line. He helped the Cardinals to that win. And Jacoby Brissett, man, dealing last night. 21 of 31, 261, 2 touchdowns, a rushing score. And speaking of things that Troy Aikman said on the Monday Night Football broadcast, both he and Joe Buck both said they expect the Cardinals to stick with Jacoby Brissett as the starter. And then Jonathan Gannon comes out after the game and says, no. Kyler's our starter when he's healthy. What do you make of that? I couldn't tell if that was reporting from Troy and Joe or if that's no, Cardinals should stick with Jacoby. And they've been good on offense. They haven't been blown out of games. They've been in just about every game they've played in this year. And to be honest, that record of, what is it now, 3-5? Yeah, 3-5 for the Cardinals. You look at that Titans game and the collapse in the fourth quarter. Obviously, they were a play or two away from winning that game. And sitting here at 4-4, and the NFC West would be looking even better than it does currently top to bottom with what the Seahawks, Niners, and Rams are doing.
Yeah, it's just a tough spot, especially when you make these big promises as Jerry's like, I'm going to add something really good. Then you don't add really anything. There's still a bunch of moves. I don't know if you subscribe to the Ricky Stubbs. He's like a dog on Twitter. He's a dog.
Ricky
picture.
Scoops.
Ricky Scoops. He has been painfully accurate when it comes to these things. He keeps talking about Jerry getting another trade. But as far as Kyler goes, it kind of seemed like coach speak to the end at me. Yeah, when Kyler comes back, he's going to be healthy. I think what he added to that afterwards was, I have nothing to add on this. So if you were really passionate about Kyler being your quarterback when he comes back, I feel like you'd stamp your flag in the ground and move with it. But if he potentially wasn't going to be your quarterback when he came back, you would move off the conversation as quickly as possible. That's what it seemed like to me. And for whatever reason, Jacoby Brissett looks like he is more comfortable in this offense than Kyler Murray is. So I'm not really sure what they need to do going forward, but it seems like they're going to have an issue when Kyler comes back. Or at the very least, when Kyler comes back and plays poorly, if they still choose to stick with him.
Man, the Kyler thing has been so perplexing in Arizona from the jump. By the way, speaking of this Jacoby Myers trade, again, if you missed it, Raiders wide receiver Jacoby Myers has been dealt to Jacksonville in exchange for a 4th and a 6th round draft pick. That on top, of course, of the news of the Titans trading outside linebacker Draymond Jones to the Ravens for a conditional 5th that could turn into a 4th if the Ravens make the playoffs and Draymond gets 2 or more sacks the rest of the year. Marciano on the F&M Bank chat says, nice benchmark for Calvin Ridley, talking about a 4th and a 6th for Jacoby Myers. I don't know that I'd agree with that.
Like too much or too little?
I'm just very skeptical on the idea of somebody being legitimately interested in bringing in Calvin Ridley. There's too many red flags there, right? The money, for one. Jacoby Myers is a guy that was on a 3-year, $33 million deal in Vegas. and he's playing out the last year of his deal. And yes, the Titans would have to eat a chunk of money to send Calvin Ridley away. But it's the fact that he's injured right now with the hamstring. It's the fact that in each of the last 2 seasons in Tennessee, it's taken him how many weeks to really get rolling, get his feet under him before he's contributing to the offense. Do you have time for that at this point? If you're a team that's in a certain window and you need Calvin Ridley to come in here and hit the ground running with a new quarterback, there hasn't been much of a recent history of him establishing that rapport from the jump, right? Like, it was a struggle with Levis, and that was what it was, and you can pin blame on whoever you want to pin blame to for the general state of the Titans offense last year. But this year with Cam Ward in training camp, it was firing in a way that it wasn't with Levis in training camp before the 2024 season. And yet still it took a few weeks before Calvin Ridley stopped dropping the ball consistently and started showing up in games. And then he started showing up in games and he flashed in that fourth quarter in Arizona, and then he goes down with the hamstring. I don't know that anybody's going to be really willing to give up that kind of draft capital for Calvin Ridley right now. And again, it would largely come down to the negotiation, I would imagine, in terms of what the Titans would be willing to eat on that front. But we'll see what happens. I still think the likes of Arden Key, Chigakonkwo, Tavandre Sweat, Tony Pollard are names to keep an eye on today. We put it to a poll at Lucas Panzica is where you can go vote. Will the Titans make another move before the 3 p.m. trade deadline, 3 p.m. Central this afternoon? 68% are saying yes. And so we'll have to see what happens.
I think it's worth noting, at least comparing Calvin and Jakobi Meyers. I think you can say that Calvin Ridley is the better player while also saying that Jakobi Meyers is more consistent. And from a risk assessment standpoint, like you noted, Myers is on an expiring contract. You got him for this year. He's essentially a rental. If you traded for Calvin, you would be banking on his health for at least the rest of the year with some money tied to it. So, I mean, that will affect the value of the pick that you get. That will affect people's interest. So just worth noting, because I feel like as a fan, I would also go, well, Calvin Ridley's better than Jakobi Meyers, which I think that's true, but both things can be true at the same time.
A lot of context around that. 615-737-1045. Let's go to the phones with Luke in Clarksville up first. Hey, Luke.
Hey, guys. How are y'all today?
Good, man. What you got?
Well, just real quick, I don't know yesterday if you were able to talk any about Nashville SC. Won Saturday night against Miami, Game 3 coming up in Miami Saturday. So just wanted to get your quick thoughts on that. I know there's obviously tons of Titans, Vols, Vandy news, but if you could just give your thoughts on that and let us know what you think. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Luke. We did talk about that yesterday. Nashville SC is carrying the torch right now for Nashville Pro Sports. And 2-1 was the win at Geodis Park. You're right. They forced a decisive Game 3 this Saturday. First win over Miami in the Lionel Messi era, and they just had to dig out that result. I mean, Nashville just had to kind of tactics were almost thrown out of the window. That was sort of a game they had to win with their intensity, their ability to just match up physically with Inter Miami, and they did that. And they found a way from a penalty kick goal by Sam Surridge, a corner kick goal off of Josh Bauer, kind of an unlikely hero in that situation, stepping in for the injured Dan Lovitz as an unexpected starter, and they just found a way. So now they got to go do that in Miami, and you can hear that game Saturday night right here on The Zone. But it's been a big year for Nashville SC. Records broken, trophy lifted, and if they are able to bounce back from a Game 1 loss and knock off Inter Miami, who everybody still is pointing to and expecting to win the MLS Cup, then that will just kind of keep the story going, keep the dream going for Nashville, and it'll be a dramatic, I'm sure, intense affair on Saturday night. Speaking of drama and intensity, what do we have to give away for what made people say, oh, no, in sports this weekend?
We have 2 tickets to go see OAR and a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace.
Salon and Day Spa.
Well, I just like to say the first part. We're on a first-name basis, me and a Moment's Peace.
Oh, nice. And I'm being told that we have 2 Belmont basketball tickets to the game against Tennessee State on Saturday.
Oh, heck yeah.
To go to the winner. So just a plethora of prizes. 615-737-1045. All you got to do is tell us what made you say, oh, no, in sports this weekend. OAR tickets, a gift card to a Moment's Peace, and Belmont basketball tickets will be in your inbox. We'll do that next.
The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you if you are experiencing performance issues, because that happens to a lot of guys. As you get up there in age, as your body starts to change, you may notice some differences, and those things don't have to be inevitable. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has been helping guys with performance issues for over a decade. Thousands of men have got back to feeling like themselves. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. 615-737-1045. Oh, there is so much to give away. Tickets to go see OAR 2 tickets to go see Belmont take on Tennessee State this Saturday at the Curb Center, and a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. So let's get into it. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you. What made you say, oh no, in sports this weekend? I'll start the bidding with something that we don't give enough love to, and that is the name of this Carolina Panthers podcast that went viral a few weeks ago. Many of you probably remember. This Panthers fan podcast put out a lengthy statement stating that they were going to take a step back, that there was just no sense in continuing to spend their Sundays away from their families and watching these Panthers games and then sitting down and preparing for and recording and cutting and posting this Panthers podcast after the dreadful start to the season that the Carolina Panthers experienced. And then the Panthers went 4-1 after the podcast went down. The podcast, Meow Mix, a Carolina Panthers podcast. Just a phenomenal name.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's a phenomenal name.
So bad.
I'm shocked that you don't like that name.
I hate that name. There is a much more perfect name they could have had for any kind of cat pun they wanted to do than Meow Mix.
Well, Meow Mix suddenly tweeted on Sunday after the Panthers' gutsy road win at Lambeau Field to get to, they are 500, if I'm not mistaken, on the season. Carolina improves.
Maybe they're 5-4. Maybe they're a game over 500.
That's right. They're 5-4. They're over 500. And again, 4-1 since the podcast. So the podcast itself tweeted on Sunday, we'll be back this week. And then the backlash that they got from Panther fans said, no, you're not.
Well, it wasn't even fans.
And Panthers players, former players. And then fast forward.
D'Angelo Williams, like, shut up. Don't ever do a podcast again, you loser.
Fast forward to yesterday at 11 a.m., Meow Mix, the Carolina Panthers podcast,
so stupid,
replies to its own tweet stating that they're going to be back and says, even though we planned to record last week before the results against Green Bay, we won't be recording due to overwhelming response from former players. We were just a small, fun podcast since 2019 and needed a break from all the time we spent putting the show on. Hashtag keep pounding, which is the Panthers' like little moniker.
If you don't like the Panthers, you can hit them with the keep pouting. They hate that.
Oh, no, yeah.
Hate that. Keep pouting, Meow Mix. Yesterday, we played the Superfan for the Colts song. This is our Colts.
Yep.
Break Rodgers back. We played that yesterday. I was then shown the new Panthers theme song.
Okay.
And so this is a fan-made song. Dude puts the song out every week. I want to, if you guys see these songs for any team in the NFL, I have to see them. I am officially a connoisseur of fan-made songs for NFL teams. This is the guy who does the Panthers song every single week, and here was his song after beating the Packers.
What's up, y'all? I got a question.
Okay.
Y'all ready to support these Carolina Panthers as they keep pounding against these Green Bay Packers?
It's very vibey.
Yeah. Also, if I had $150,000, I want you to know exactly what I would do, y'all. Check it out. Spend $150,000 on a football team. Wait a minute, that's not enough to buy a team. Spend $150,000 on a tricked out Porsche. Wait, what? Minnesota, it snows too much. Build me a tennis court outside my house. But the HOA's gonna make me tear it down. Might give me some Panthers season ticks. Just might get a tiny home in the sticks. I get some Reese's peanut butter cups.
What?
Heck, no, I ain't sharing. I'ma eat them all up. Might give me a plane and fly to Spain. Except I don't even know how to fly a plane. Crash that. I'ma get me a big old bus. One big enough for all of us to double Dutch.
Has nothing to do with the Panthers.
That was awesome.
Has nothing to do with the Panthers.
No, there's a mention of Panthers season tickets.
You had 150,000.
What would you do?
I tell you what I'd
would you do?
I would hire that guy to write a song.
That was really good.
Dude, so good. It's so much of an improvement over what the old Carolina Panthers song was. I once interviewed this guy, and on the fact that he was on the show for maybe 5 minutes, he cursed. He said the F word 5 times.
So he doesn't curse in the song?
No, doesn't curse once in the song. He says ass. But so a massive improvement over this, which used to be the Carolina Panthers fan-made song.
Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football.
Oh, pretty good.
No, shut up.
Offense and defense so intense. Your team will be the losers if you got a lick of sense. You dig the
He's doing this whole thing in his driveway in the trailer park.
Yeah, the trailer park.
What I'm saying, spit and fly, hip-hop lines. Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth.
I just want to hear the
proud to win this game. We call pro football.
Awful. We've come so far.
No. The Panthers screech is pretty solid.
No, it's not.
No,
What is he
that's
doing?
not bad. That's the sound. It's the same sound the Preds play at Bridgestone.
No, it's not.
It
No,
is.
it's not.
It's the
No,
exact
it's not.
same. They
All
play
right.
the same sound.
Not even close, dude. The one they play is the real sound. Are you kidding me?
Duck Falling on the FNM Big Chat says, "Oh, that bleep went hard." They both have their place.
No.
Have either of them made it into Bank of America Stadium the way that Seth, the Colts fan, has made it into Lucas Oil Stadium where they play it on the Jumbotron?
That's a great question.
Have the Panthers embraced? They should. They should embrace the former, for sure, the first one.
Every single touchdown, the new song needs to play. Like the new...
What's up, y'all? I got a question.
Like every single time there is a touchdown, Rico Dowdle, Xavier Leggett.
What's up, y'all? I got a question.
What would you do with
I'm ready to support these Carolina Panthers as they keep pounding against these Green Bay Packers.
Come on.
Yeah. Also, if I had $150,000, I want you to know.
That slaps,
It's good.
dude.
It's good.
That slaps.
It's good. I wonder why 150,000.
That's just how he started it. His first song ever, he wrote that, and then
God, that's
he
fantastic.
just stuck with it. Stuck with it. We need a Titans fan to come
Anyway,
up with a badass
we
song.
do. Something like that. Well, my oh no is Meow Mixed. Announcing that they're coming back because the Panthers are good again, and then getting backlash and saying, no, we're not. And the best part is the first reply on this announcement that they actually are not coming back is Jonathan Stewart, former Panthers running back, saying, thank you for understanding.
Damn, I picked the wrong Panther. I said D'Angelo Williams. It was Jonathan Stewart.
Thank you for your understanding. But just the way they said, we were just a small, fun podcast and needed a break from all the time we spent away from our families putting the show on. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the Panthers are 4-1 since Meow Mix stopped recording podcasts. So congratulations to them. All right, we will get Robert's Oh No and yours for a chance to win multiple prizes. Hour 2 next.
11:01. Good morning from the Circus Sports Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Trade deadline day in the NFL. The Titans made a move yesterday, shipping outside linebacker Draymond Jones to the Ravens for a conditional 5th-round pick that could become a 4th. We now know those conditions. If Draymond Jones has 2 or more sacks in the regular season and the Baltimore Ravens make the playoffs, that 5th-rounder would become the Ravens' 4th-round pick. The Dallas Cowboys, who fell to the Arizona Cardinals last night 27-17, have also completed a trade for Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson for a 7th-round pick. He will be competing with former Titans linebacker Kenneth Murray for the starting spot in Dallas. Also, a trade this morning, the Jacksonville Jaguars trading for Jakobi Meyers from the Raiders for a 4th and 6th-round pick. Jakobi Meyers had expressed himself and wanted a trade at the beginning of the season. He now gets a new start in Duval. And Vols basketball season tipped off last night with a 76-61 win over the Mercer Bears. Nate Ament with 18 points and 9 boards. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right, if you missed it, Titans have traded Draymond Jones to the Baltimore Ravens. That came down last night in exchange for a conditional 5th-round pick. It turns into a 4th if the Ravens make the playoffs and Draymond Jones sacks opposing quarterbacks 2 or more times for the rest of the season. Congratulations, Titans fans. You now have to root for the Baltimore Ravens for an improved draft pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Welcome back in. Lucas Panzica and Robert Walsh here. Buck mercifully has left us. He has scurried off to Miami. The man who claims he hates vacations, can't take them, is taking a vacation during the Titans bye week. He'll be back next Monday, and we have much to discuss. As you heard in the update, Jakobi Meyers is on the move. He's headed to the Jacksonville Jags. Diana Rossini saying the Bills and Steelers were among the teams that inquired about Jakobi Meyers. So, stands to reason they are among teams looking for wide receiver help as the trade deadline fast approaches today at 3 p.m. Could that mean an opportunity for the Titans in regards to Calvin Ridley? All things we will talk about throughout the course of the hour. But we are telling you what made us say, oh no, in sports this week for your chance to win OAR tickets, Belmont basketball tickets, and a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. 615-737-1045 is how you enter your submission. Robert.
Far too often, I feel like our submissions take away from the listeners, so I wanted to dig deep this week.
Ooh.
I wanted to find something that I didn't think anybody else was going to play. So I don't know how often you're watching Idaho or Northern Arizona University football.
Not often.
But they had a barn burner last Friday night.
And you were watching this how?
I was watching this a little inebriated at a random pizza spot in Orlando. We're just in there, game's on. I'm like, oh, cool, a nice football game. So they're going for a 2-point conversion, they being Northern Arizona. The game is they're down 2. This 2 is to tie it. The quarterback drops back, and this happens.
Penning had time, but the lights went out.
And he caught the ball. He caught the ball in the dark. He literally caught. That is I've never seen that in my life. The home team.
The audio does not do it justice, so let me paint you a picture. They're on the 2-yard line. They're going for this 2-point conversion. The quarterback drops back. He sees his guy. He goes to release the ball, and every light in the stadium goes out.
Ball in the air.
Light ceases to exist inside of this stadium. The crowd, aghast, because it's like, is this Batman? Is Bane going to pop out or something? The wide receiver catches the 2-point conversion. He catches it to tie the game. The referees, after conferring, wave it off. They make them go for it again, which miraculously, Northern Arizona catches it again. They get the 2-point conversion. They end up going to overtime and losing to Idaho. How do you, at home, have your own stadium betray you like that? It didn't affect the game. They still got the 2-point conversion, but the fact that the lights went out. Yeah, I encourage you all, unless you're driving, to seek this out and look at the video, because it is otherworldly. Like, this is the Ravens and 49ers Super Bowl on steroids.
Yeah.
Like, the lights were gone, and the quarterback still throws a seed.
The way they come on and the guy's got the football and he's celebrating is incredible. Now, I think we have a culprit, though. I think we know who might have done this. Can you play the very top of that audio again and listen closely to what you can hear? One random voice shouting into the ether seconds before the lights go down.
Oh, wait, enhance? Can we enhance this? Is this CSI? Enhance? Oh, we do feel it.
Somebody yelling, "Do you feel it?" the moment before the lights go out.
The darkness enveloping us. Yes, I feel that.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow to lose that game. Shout out to Idaho for staying in it.
The Vandals.
Finding a way. The Vandals found a way to get it done. 615-737-1045. So Robert's got the lights going out in an FCS game. I've got the Meow Mix Carolina Panthers podcast announcing they're coming back and then pulling out with the backlash from former players after the Panthers get right since they announced they are canceling their podcast. And we go now to the phones for a chance to win multiple prizes. Zach in Chattanooga up first. Hey, Zach.
Hey, Lucas. If we're going to go with the FCS route, my alma mater, University of Tennessee Chattanooga, their homecoming game, Saturday. They were down for most of the game, had a chance to tie up, under a minute left at the 5-yard line. Quarterback throws his third interception of the game, and they lose. That's my oh-no.
Sorry to hear it, Zach.
Hey, do you know their name? Do you know the quarterback's name?
His last name's Roth, I think. Apparently, it was a transfer from Long Island University.
Oh, okay. They already benched the ECU quarterback.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Zach.
Camden Orth.
Oh, very
Orth
nice.
is the quarterback in question. So Chattanooga falls to 4-5 with the loss to the Western Carolina Catamounts from your neck of the woods.
Nah.
No? You don't claim the Catamounts?
No, those are the real rubes. Those are the mountain men.
Oh, okay. Those are the mountain
I'm from the flatlands.
All right. Bet, is this right? B-E-T-T? Bet in Nashville?
Sure. Give him a shot.
All right. Bet, what you got?
It's Brett, like Brett Maverick.
All right, Brett, what you got?
No, for me was Oakland's Giovanni Malone running the opening kickoff back. A game that you called, Lucas. I mean, I coached that kid in baseball. So proud of him. And as soon as I saw him turn on the Jets, it was just like, oh, no. That's my oh, no.
Thanks for the call, Brett. Yeah, we had the Friday Night Rivals broadcast of the Battle of the Borough last Thursday, Riverdale, Oakland. Loaded talent matchup. Opening kickoff, Oakland at home. Giovanni Malone houses at 94 yards. And the top, I mean, he must have hit a top speed of 22 miles per hour. He has hit a top speed of 21.5 miles per hour. The talented Oakland playmaker this year, because Catapult, the company that does those like tracking GPS vests, came to town and put it on some of the Oakland players. And he had a long return in that game. That they clocked him at 21.5 miles per hour.
I don't
high school football player.
The only time I'm moving that fast is if I'm in a car. I don't think I could go that fast on a bike.
I think you could.
Nah, maybe downhill. You never see me ride a bike, though.
Thanks for the call, Brett. Derek in Nashville's next. Hey, Derek.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. What you got?
My old nose for both of our top 15 teams losing on Saturday. Vandy and Tennessee.
Yes, thanks for the call, Derek. Tennessee and Vandy had the marquee matchups in the SEC, and they both go down. Vandy's playoff hope's still alive. Tennessee's not so much. And CFP ranking, first one of the season, comes out tonight. And we're going to talk about some of the moving parts and pieces, some of the things we're watching for when that ranking is unveiled. Always a nice surprise on the first one, right? There's always that one team that's ranked number one or on the outside looking in that is unexpected. So, yes, Tennessee and Vandy not meeting the moment last weekend for sure. D in Shelbyville is next. Hey, D, what you got?
What's going on, Lucas? What's going on, Robert? My oh no for this week was coming across the suspension of Javonte Davis and that fight getting canceled between him and Jake Paul. I'm a pretty big boxing fan, and I was looking forward to that. And Javonte Davis constantly getting in trouble. It's a bad look on his part.
Thanks for the call, D. Robert, can you explain this?
Yeah, I was also looking forward to this fight, mostly because I felt like Davis could actually knock Paul out. When you see Paul fight a lot of these guys, it's guys that are former MMA fighters, guys that Mike Tyson, people that are past their prime. But Javonte is kind of in his prime. He's an actual boxer, a boxer that has won championships. It would be the highest profile fight that Paul has probably ever had. And I didn't see the issues that were going on, that why the fight got canceled, but I did see that it was canceled. unfortunate, but it'll save us all a lot of money when inevitably we would bet, well, this guy's definitely going to knock Jake Paul out, and then he doesn't. So it saved me a little bit of money. Appreciate that, Davis.
So Davis accused in a civil lawsuit filed by an ex-girlfriend of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Sheesh.
So, yeah.
CVS receipt.
My goodness. Well, that is a good submission by D then. That does make you say, oh, no. Tyler in Tennessee is our last caller. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, how y'all doing, guys?
Good, man. What you got?
My oh no is the Washington Commanders and that beat down against Seattle, not pulling out Jaden Daniels after coming back off an injury, getting re-injured with a more significant injury.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tyler. Oh, man, this was brutal. 31-point game. Jaden Daniels still in. Arm goes in a direction it's not supposed to go, and he's got a dislocated elbow after coming back, as Tyler said. Dan Quinn, the Commanders head coach, it's easy to point to Dan Quinn, especially if you're a Commanders fan, and just be incensed at him leaving your franchise quarterback in the game, in a game that was decided at that point, was purely academic. But it's hard not to feel for Dan Quinn when you listen to this, and this is Dan Quinn talking about that decision.
I know many of you have been asking about the thought process of Jaden being in the game in that situation. I get that. I've been thinking about it, honestly, nonstop, too. And, for me, the answer is, man, I missed it. But I would, I'll fill you in on my thought process. At the start of the fourth quarter, I guess it was probably like 12 and a half minutes left in the game. And that was going to be the last drive for a couple of guys, Jaden and Zach and Debo and LT. And so we weren't going to have any read run plays, and meaning no carries, for the quarterback on a run. And honestly, man, that's where I missed it. Of course, he could scramble. It's Jaden. It's what he's special at, and that is 100% that's on me. And I also said last night in the presser to our fans that, man, did we miss our mark as a team. And with that performance, we need to fix it. They created an awesome environment, at the stadium for the game, and that fix needs to be done now. So.
That is Commanders head coach Dan Quinn. So Jaden Daniels out for an extended period after there's no fracture, they said, and they're still waiting on some tests. But, man, down 31, still in the game. That's a hard pill to swallow for the Commanders.
You got to respect the coach, though. I respect him coming out and being like, yeah, it was my fault. I'm the one that made this decision, and we got to get it fixed. Like, it is tough to go out there and admit to your own mistakes in any walk of life, whether it's in front of a room full of reporters, if it's in a room full of your peers and a room full of your friends. It's always hard to admit you were wrong. So I have a lot of respect for Dan Quinn there.
I don't know if you saw this. It's kind of been going around, some of the eerie similarities between Daniels and RG3.
I know. I don't want to talk. I'm not even a Commanders fan.
It's got nothing to do with the other, but it's kind of been making the rounds that RG3 in year 2, his first big injury came in Seattle. It came on a 2nd and 4.
Well, his first big injury was his rookie year against the Ravens, right? Haloti Ngata, broke his knee.
Oh, right. Okay, so in his second year. Okay, no, you're right. You're right. This would have been the rookie year injury for RG3.
But we can say, I mean, I could probably say this without fear of anyone persecuting me. Jaden Daniels is 10 times the quarterback that RG3 was at this stage of his career. I don't think that, you see a bunch of Commanders fans online or wherever in the discourse talking about, he's not as good as we thought. He took you to the NFC Championship game as a rookie. He is that good. You just have unfortunate injury luck, and it sucks when it happens to a player of his caliber.
Yeah.
Because then people start doubting him.
Yeah, that was tough to see on Sunday Night Football. Tyler wins the tickets, yeah?
Yeah, I agree with that.
With the Dan Quinn submission. Washington Commanders leaving Daniels in the game, and he dislocates his elbow. All right, Tyler, you're headed to OAR. You're going to get a pair of Belmont basketball tickets and a $100 A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa gift card. So appreciate everybody hanging out and participating. The trade deadline is coming up at 3 p.m. Central Time. Trade or fade? What other names should we be looking at down the stretch, including some that play for the Tennessee Titans? We'll do that next on 104.5 The Zone. You know, I feel like we do this every year when the NFL trade deadline rolls around, right? It's 3 p.m. and it's the countdown, and just stay with us and we'll keep you updated on all the moves and the headlines. And what is it, 2 in the last 24 hours? I don't know when the Jalen Phillips trade happened from Miami to Philadelphia, but I think we're at 2 with Draymond Jones last night headed to Baltimore, and then Jacoby Myers headed to Jacksonville.
Don't forget Logan Wilson.
Logan Wilson,
That's
Cincinnati
3.
to Dallas. Big splash trade that Jerry Jones teased.
I think it's impacted by the abnormal amount of Monday and Tuesday trades. Adam Schefter talked about it in probably like week 2 or week 3 of the NFL season, that you would see a shift in ideology about how you would trade for players or when to trade for players. And we've saw a number of those on the Mondays and Tuesdays following NFL games. So, like, I think that kind of ate at it. Like Roger McCreary being a trade deadline trade would have made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I also wonder if moving the deadline back a week impacted it at all. Like, is it the money? Is it not enough time? Or you feel like you're set in your ways? I just want it. It'll be interesting to look at in years to come now that it's moved.
Welcome back. Lucas Panzica and Robert Walsh hanging out for the rest of the week. Buck's gone, and we're happy about that. He'll be back next Monday. We are fueled, of course, by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. I'm craving some Hattie B's, Robert. Maybe we order some.
Ooh, don't tease
grilled
me.
chicken, southern salads, cornbread,
hungry.
croutons. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Trade or fade? Who do you want to see from the Titans traded? And who's a name that pops up that you say, no, fade that. Keep them around. Albert Breer of SI put out a few nuggets on each team. Here's what he had on the Titans. A few things that we've already heard multiple times. He reports the Titans are open for business on anyone but Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons. They've already dealt Roger McCreary, and they've gotten calls on edge players Arden Key and Draymond Jones, who, after this article came out, they traded to Baltimore, and tight end Chigakonkwo. The team plans to be cognizant of Ward's development as it tries to make sure all the organizational tumult doesn't affect his trajectory, so they'll be careful about further gutting certain areas of the roster. One interesting name could be uber-talented but underachieving defensive tackle Tavandre Sweat, whom teams have sniffed around on a bit. In parentheses, Tennessee would like to see if a new staff can reach him.
Buck noted this, but, I mean, I thought it was also very telling that they made sure to come out, put a statement out, feed reporters to say, we are not actively shopping Calvin Ridley. We're receiving calls, but we are not calling people. We're not trying to ship him out of town. They did not put a statement out of that ilk to talk about Tavandre Sweat.
That right there from Albert Breer tells you what the current front office thinks about Tavandre Sweat. Uber talented but underachieving defensive tackle. I don't think that's Albert Breer coming up with that on his own.
Yeah, he's not speculating from the journalistic standpoint.
And to say Tennessee would like to see if a new staff can reach him.
What does that even mean? Like, what is it? I understand what they're saying, like, to get him to buy in, but, like, come on, man.
And Buck's talked about this, that, you know, he's got reason to believe the Titans are less than thrilled with the general Tavandre Sweat. I don't know. Like, this is where I feel gross, right? Talking about the work ethic and the mentality and attitude.
Yeah, we don't know.
And yeah, because has it shown up on game day? I don't think so. Would you call Tavandre Sweat uber talented but underachieving in a year and a half as a Titan?
I would say that's fair.
You say that's fair?
I would say that that's pretty fair. Because he is talented. He has not realized that talent. You know what I mean? Sans the big return. Who was that against that he had the interception?
Oh, the Bengals. The big stiff arm.
That great moment, right? Great moment. And you got a belly rub last week. Like, I love the
first
belly
sack
rub.
of his career. Or no, second sack of his career.
So, I mean,
a couple weeks ago.
At that position, I know a lot of people used to do this with Haloti Ngata and be like, why do they pay him so much money? He doesn't get any sacks, but that's not his job, right? His job isn't to get a bunch of sacks. His job is to occupy blockers or to knife through and provide pressure. So I could understand potentially being upset with him, but not. The developmental pathway of him is you have 2 more years after this to figure it out. You had a high investment in him with a second-round pick. It would be really hard for me to stomach trading him for another playoff team's 4th. That just seems like gross business to me.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard for Titans fans to stomach, right? You've already seen one of these promising young players on their rookie deals dealt to New York. If you're going to trade Tavandre Sweat, I will say you got to get something back for him, which you didn't really for Jarvis Brownlee. That was kind of just an offload him sort of move. But I don't know. I don't know how that would be received by Titans fans. Whereas any of these other names that have popped up, like Draymond Jones, sure. 5th, potential 4th, absolutely. Arden Key, he's sidelined with a hamstring. How attractive is that? I don't know. And then there's Calvin Ridley, who we've talked about already. And I see a lot of red flags there for a team trying to bring in Calvin Ridley and send draft capital. But clearly there are teams seeking wide receiver help. We mentioned Diana Rossini reporting the Bills and Steelers. We're in on Jacoby Myers. The Jags are the ones that get that done. The Raiders receiver heads to Jacksonville. And the Buffalo Bills are an interesting team to think about in regards to bringing in some wide receiver help. In that sort of window, maybe that's the team that could afford to take a swing like that and a risk on Calvin Ridley to join a room that right now includes Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer.
Yeah, and this may be a blessing in disguise for Titans fans, because if Jacoby Myers was traded to the Bills or Steelers, that would take a potential interest target off of Calvin Ridley, because the Titans are not going to trade Calvin Ridley back to the Jaguars from whence he came. It just doesn't make sense to trade someone to a divisional opponent like that. So the fact that Jacoby Myers can go there and take them out of the running for another wide receiver trade, I think helps the Titans out, at least from a buyer's standpoint. You have more people who would be interested that you would also not mind shipping them off to.
So we'll keep an eye on all of that. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Trade or fade? Other names to watch today. How about Trey Hendrickson? These teams that we look at that are kind of seeing their season slip away a little bit, whether it's the Cincinnati Bengals or the Dallas Cowboys, who fall to 3-5-1 with an embarrassing home loss to the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football. Jerry Jones is talking like the Cowboys are buyers. Are the Bengals, who look like they're aiming to bring back Joe Burrow by the end of the season, but have dropped 2 really winnable games in large part because of this defense's inability to stop anybody at the end of a football game. Allowed 47 points in the loss to the Bears last week. And the idea of Trey Hendrickson going somewhere else has to indicate some sort of reset for Cincinnati if that was the case.
At least trading him would say that they are throwing in the towel on this year, right? Yeah. Because the expectation would be like, if they can just scratch their way into the playoff situation, Joe Burrow would be back by week 16, and maybe they could fight into the wild card. But if they keep going under, you have to make the decision now. The trade deadline is in less than 3.5 hours away. So if you're going to move off of him, because looking forward, there's probably not going to be a chance where they re-sign him. Why would Trey Hendrickson go back to the place that has diminished his value, constantly spit in his face as a professional, when he could just go out in the open market and let someone else? I mean, in free agency, you're going to get overpaid for either way. There's no way he's coming back. I don't understand why they wouldn't want to move him. Just looking at the season flatly, how many things have to go correctly for the Bengals to make the playoffs? How many things have to go correctly for Joe Burrow to come back to this team and play this season? A lot of them. It's more likely that if you could ship him off, get a high second-round pick, get a second-round pick in general, I think you have to take that value.
And how laughable for the Bengals to tell Trey Hendrickson he's not valuable enough to get a long-term deal, to get even close to the market value that the likes of Aiden Hutchinson and Micah Parsons are at right now, despite leading the league in sacks for 2 straight years, and then turn around and say, as Diana reported yesterday, that he's worth a first-round pick in a trade.
Right.
Like, you don't get both. You don't get both. You don't get to tell the world you don't value this guy enough to keep him beyond this year on a long-term deal, and then turn around and say, no, we value him enough to need a first in exchange for him.
Oh, if you want him, you're going to have to bring your finest jewels. Like, stop it. It makes no sense.
And there are teams out there that can make this kind of swing, right? San Francisco's without Nick Bosa for the rest of the year. And the Niners just keep winning games. So if you're San Francisco, it feels like a hard proposition to not try and take a swing like that, as Mac Jones is just balling each and every week and looking better than Brock Purdy has at any given point since he signed that contract. Is that fair to say?
There's no rumors about him being soft-benched.
No, there's not, the way there are with Kyler Murray. And then there's the Indianapolis Colts. where it feels like somebody like Trey Hendrickson in a reunion with Colts defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo could really lift that defense. So I get it from the Bengals' perspective that there would be buyers out there. They've already traded away a linebacker in Logan Wilson to Dallas. What about Dallas in the case of Trey Hendrickson?
Wouldn't that make the most sense for Jerry to do? Jerry's like, you guys want to trade? You got it. I'll give you a trade. Trade's a future first for Trey Hendrickson. I would hate that. I would hate that on both sides because the Bengals get bailed out for their bad behavior, and Jerry just continues to do stupid things to the Cowboys.
615-737-1045. And then there's a name that I shouldn't say I'm surprised, because we saw him once this season and the sample size wasn't good. The most expensive backup quarterback in the history of the NFL, Kirk Cousins. And I guess there's not a team out there right now, Robert, that's just floundering at quarterback. Well, there are teams that are struggling at the quarterback position, but the ones that are doing it with some sort of plan, right? Cam Ward has had his struggles this year. He's the Titans' #1 overall pick. We understand that. Dylan Gabriel has had his rookie struggles this year. Browns are moving forward with him to see what they have. But there's not really a team right now, is there, that's kind of sinking in the abyss that would be as desperate as you would need to be, I guess, to take a swing on Kirk Cousins that looked pretty dreadful a couple weeks ago, starting for Michael Penix.
Unless, do you remember a quarterback by the name of Brock Osweiler?
Yeah.
Where the Texans traded Brock Osweiler and a second-round pick to the Browns just to take his contract off the board. The Browns received the quarterback and a second-round pick. The Browns sent some compensation back, but paid a high price just to get that money off their books. Now, I don't know Kirk's contract situation or how long he's going to be on the books for the Falcons, but it would make a lot of sense to me if they just were like, okay, does anybody want to take Kirk in a 5th for a 7th, please? Somebody want to help us out and give us a little money back? If he's going to get traded, it would have to be a situation like that because no contender needs a quarterback of that much monetary value. Most of them already have them. Like the teams you would worry about having an injured quarterback with the Rams and Matthew Stafford, who is on a tear right now. Yeah. 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He looks incredible. But there's not a lot of teams that are in contention, like you noted, that need a quarterback. So I think it would make a lot more sense for Atlanta to keep him in the off chance that Michael Penix gets hurt again.
Are you at all surprised that Cincinnati, there was at least no reporting to this end, Cincinnati, no interest in potentially a Kirk Cousins move? Said, no, give me 40-year-old Joe Flacco over 37-year-old Kirk Cousins.
Hey, it's probably the best move they've made all year. Probably the best move they made all year. Flacco now holds the record for the most passing yards for a 40-year-old in a single game with 470 passing yards, breaking Brett Favre and Tom Brady's record. So they made the right choice. As much as I hate watching Flacco do great things for them, he has been very impressive. And looks like he will continue to do so. I can't wait until he's the first 50-year-old quarterback in the NFL.
Draymond Jones, the one trade the Titans have made here in the last 24 hours. Again, if you missed it, headed to Baltimore in exchange for a conditional 2026 5th that could turn into a 4th. Seth Walder of ESPN has kind of been breaking down some of the big moves that have been happening leading up to the deadline at 3 p.m. Central today. The grade he gave to the Titans, a B+. Ravens get a B-, Titans get a B+ with the Draymond Jones trade.
I mean, it's a heavy price for a rental. Like, I understand. I honestly surprised the Ravens even got a B for it. It is a very need-thrusted move where it's like you get what the rest of the season and you're not guaranteed anything else with this cat, but it's a move that potentially helps you now. Like, the Titans fully took advantage of this situation. Like, the Titans won this trade. No matter what happens to Draymond Jones, even if he ends up becoming the second coming of whoever, the Titans won this trade because they had someone in a needy position and they got value out of it that they wouldn't have had elsewhere.
Well, sure, but the Ravens had how many 5th-round picks?
A couple. They have 5 5th-round picks.
5
5th-round picks. But this was the best of the 5th-round picks. This was the Jets pick.
Yeah.
This was the Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross leads. But these leads to you are trash. They're nothing. To give them to you would be to set them on fire. What's your name? Bleep you. I love that movie.
I don't know how many times you've shown me that speech from Alec Baldwin.
Anytime you need to get fired up, go watch Alec Baldwin give that speech. I could sell a spoon to a man with no hands after watching that. Like, there's no way you could listen to Alec Baldwin and not be like, you think I'm going to go win a set of steak knives? Get out of here. I want the car.
Oh, the SNL sketch of Alec Baldwin as Santa giving that speech to the elves.
Coco is for closers. He slipped up in it, and you could just tell he was so mad at himself.
Speaking of Saturday Night Live, we haven't mentioned what they did to the Nashville Predators last weekend.
We did the exact same thing to the Predators when Preds in the Community came out. We did the exact same thing. So I'm not going to feel bad for the Predators when we also made fun of them for having shirts that said Predators in the Community.
No, but it didn't. It said Preds.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
no, but
short
it's different.
for that.
It's different.
I understand it.
Miles Teller was the host of SNL last weekend. Many of you have probably already seen the sketch, but it's basically a PSA with a king, a ranger, and a Nashville Predator talking about being Rangers in the community and Predators in the community.
I'm a king in my community.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think SNL's got its fastball back, by the way. These things happen kind of in cycles, right? There's always a dip, and then they come back up, and then there's a dip again. And it's not even like the cast is just star-studded, but I don't know. I think they're doing some good things.
I think they're better niche fits. How did we get to an SNL cast conversation? I think they're better niche fits for the type of comedy they're trying to do. Like, they're not overwhelmingly funny in a lot of different areas, but the ways that they are and the skits that they're using them, they are very funny. It's more of the dry humor, which I appreciate.
615-737-1045. Boar on the F&M Bank chat asks, what are the conditions for the fifth to become a fourth? If you missed it, the conditions are Draymond Jones sacks opposing quarterbacks 2 or more times for the rest of the year, and the Baltimore Ravens make the playoffs. As the Ravens' schedule lightens up over the backstretch, and they've got an opportunity here to turn things around after a brutal slate to start the season. So Draymond Jones fills a major need for Baltimore, and we'll see. We'll see if the Titans make any more moves. Right now, Robert, if you had to put money down on a Titans player being moved, who would that be? If one more Titans player got traded before the deadline.
How much money?
All of your money.
Oh. Probably Chig. I would say Chig only for the fact that there is a door that opened in Green Bay with the injury to Tucker Kraft, where it would be very easy for me to see the relationship between Brinker and Green Bay to go, hey, give us a 7th-round pick, I will give you Chig. That seems like the smallest barrier of entry of a player to get traded, because the notes that were put in the Albert Breer column where they don't want to sacrifice the development of the team for picks. I feel like trading Tony Pollard would do that. To a lesser extent, I feel like trading Calvin Ridley would do that. To an even lesser extent, I would feel like trading Kevin Zeitler would do that. Trading someone on defense, their development is not linked to a singular player as much as offense is. So Chig, who is kind of taking a backseat to Gunnar Helm, I think you would be able to move off of him and use any of your other DTR, any of your other tight ends that you would see fit to grow, at least because you have a pathway for them. Chig's contract is also ending. So that's where the real sweet spot is for trading players.
Man, that Tucker Kraft injury really puts an interesting spin on that. 3 p.m. today, Central Time. Blaine and Zach will take you right up to it. Of course, we'll let you know of any moves as they come down. But coming up, our high school football hero of the week, Maverick Chance, the do-it-all man for the Ravenwood Raptors in a regular season finale last week. One of the cooler stories, by the way, not just locally, but nationally, that's gotten some attention when it comes to high school football in 2025. And we'll tell you all about it and hear from Maverick next on 104.5 The Zone. Happens so fast every year. You blink and the high school football regular season is over. And that's where we are. It's playoff time. In the TSSAA playoffs, welcome back. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you until 1 o'clock. We're fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Each and every week, 11:45 a.m. on a Tuesday, we talk to our high school football hero of the week. And today, that is Ravenwood quarterback, Maverick Chance. And talk about a versatile performance last Thursday, against Brentwood in the Battle of the Woods. 41-6 the win. Maverick Chance, 7 of 10 passing, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. 8 carries, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. 3 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Maverick, glad to have you with us, man. Appreciate you coming on.
So, thanks for having me.
I mean, hard to draw up a better way to end the regular season. 10-0 record. You guys head into the playoffs hosting Cane Ridge this Friday, doing it in 3 different phases on offense. Was that kind of the plan, Maverick, to have you more involved in all 3 phases, or is that just kind of how the game plan developed?
Yeah, I mean, I've been practicing the last couple weeks to, get in at receiver, get some passes, and, just kind of rock with it and move the ball, and it works, so.
Between the 3, you've played quarterback for this team for a while now, splitting those reps with Femi Babalola, dual QB system. It's worked to an extraordinarily high level. But between those 3, what do you find yourself enjoying the most in the moment, whether you're catching the football, running for chunk plays, or dicing up a defense in the passing game?
I wouldn't say enjoy, any one part, the most, just scoring, I guess. It's not, catching the ball is fun, throwing it's fun too, but, just getting in the end zone, whether it's throwing it or running it, it's always the best.
So you're headed to play your college football at Navy. Your quarterbacking partner there at Ravenwood, Femi Babalola, is going to go play his college ball at Boston College. You guys have been one of the coolest stories at the high school football level, not even locally, just nationally, in the way that you have split those reps, whether it's alternating drives or riding the hot hand, and it's worked. It's worked at a really high level for Ravenwood. It's been cool to see kind of a spotlight on that. I mean, are you guys just used to the attention now? I know you and Femi kind of grew up together. How fun has this journey been with him, both of you, playing quarterback for the Ravenwood Raptors?
Yeah, it's been super fun. We're both buddies. We've been friends for a really, really long time. And, seeing each other grow, it's a just awesome experience.
You're headed to Navy, and that's where you're going to take the next step in your college football career, obviously your next chapter in life. What was it about going to be a midshipman that really attracted you on and off the field?
When I got there, the coaches were all just super welcoming. They treated me like I was already there, playing for them, and all the benefits that come along with it. It's just how could I not want to go there, basically?
Playoff time, y'all are at home hosting Cane Ridge. Last year, Ravenwood had a similar journey, right? You went undefeated in the regular season, got all the way to the Final Four, the semifinal, a 3-point loss to Houston. How motivating is that, the fact that you guys got as close as you did a year ago, and now here you are again after going 10-0 with a chance to kind of go finish the job?
It's all we want, is to go win out and Michigan State win that game. And, that's the goal. It's been the goal. It's just what we're chasing after.
Maverick Chance, Ravenwood quarterback, Navy commit, one of the cooler stories of high school football in Tennessee. Maverick, appreciate the time, man. Congrats on an incredible performance last week, and good luck to you guys in the playoffs.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Maverick Chance with us of Ravenwood High School. Again, 7 of 10 passing, 168 and 2 touchdowns. Oh!
I could barely contain my excitement. 2 trades happening during that segment. The first, which is probably the biggest blockbuster of the day, Sauce Gardner who just signed an extension with the Jets this offseason, is heading to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round picks. I didn't see any buzz around this. I didn't see anyone clamoring, oh, Sauce Gardner's going to get traded, but he is, and he's headed to the Titans' rival in Indianapolis. There was a second trade. The Saints are trading wide receiver Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks. We do not know the compensation that is trading hands, but a speedy wide receiver, just what Sam Darnold needed. Another speedy wide receiver.
Oh, my goodness. That is a whirlwind. Seattle loading up at receiver and Indy going all in on Sauce Gardner. 2 first-rounders for Sauce Gardner is stunning, Robert. Right?
It feels like a little bit of an overpay, but I think that his name has been poo-pooed in the media and in fan spaces a little more than he deserved. Right now, having an incredible start to his year despite giving up the most touchdowns of his career. When he is targeted, he has a completion percentage of 46.4. That is astronomically low. And with a certain threshold, I would imagine that's probably the best in the NFL. So they add Lou Anarumo adds another great cornerback after losing his name slips my mind, the big cornerback free agency addition from the 49ers that got an injury in the pregame situation.
Oh, Charvarius Ward.
I kept wanting to say Sharkhandrick West, but that's a running back.
MTSU product. Blue Raider.
I didn't know that. Okay. But so 2 trades. They are coming through, baby. We love this. We love this. This is what you wake up for on a trade deadline.
Yeah, we don't get this often, right? We were talking about it. Trade deadline rolls around, and you're like, here we go. Let's see some big moves. And, I mean, we talked about it a few days ago. What's the last time there was a blockbuster trade on deadline day? Was it McCaffrey?
Have to be.
Yeah, I think it would have to be. So, wow, 2 first-round picks, Indy going all in, the Jets selling the biggest star on the defensive side of the ball. Would we call Sauce Gardner the biggest star on defense over Quinnen Williams?
That was my next question.
2-time All-Pro.
Yeah, he and started with a lot more flair too. I mean, he I would say he would be the face of the defense there. But does this to you signal a Jets team that would be starting a rebuild? Because Sauce Gardner was not the disgruntled player in New York. I would describe that as being Garrett Wilson. Mm-hmm. So would a team that would potentially be looking for wide receiver help like the Steelers? Can you imagine the Steelers with Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf? But as just like Sauce, he signed an extension this offseason as well. So one of the big money moves off the board for the Jets, Garrett Wilson still in New York, but something I would keep an eye on.
That 2022 New York Jets draft class, I mean,
insane.
Can you think of a better draft class that the franchise did nothing with more so than the 20? I mean, you're talking about Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. I mean, just those 2 players alone.
Is that Jermaine Johnson?
Jermaine Johnson.
Who was also on the trade block for what it's worth.
I mean, that is an excellent draft class.
And just it ended up being nothing, a big nothing burger for their record.
Nothing. They got nothing out of it. Right. It was Garrett Wilson in round 1. Jermaine Johnson in round 1, 26 overall. Breece Hall, the 36 overall pick.
Wow.
I mean, that's incredible. So the Jets are selling off one of their biggest stars. They get 2 firsts in return. And to answer your question, yeah, if you're going to get that kind of return, Jets are floundering, right? They have 1 win. You've got Aaron Glenn just refusing to tell anybody who his starting quarterback is going to be between Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. And Indianapolis beefs up its secondary. Meanwhile, Rashid Shaheed, that is going to get lost under the Sauce Gardner trade. It shouldn't. Rashid Shaheed is reunited with Clint Kubiak, his former offensive coordinator, now the OC in Seattle. Another speed demon for that Seahawks offense, where Sam Darnold right now is playing better than he did last year in Minnesota. To this point in the year, that performance, Robert, I think you could argue was the best performance of Sam Darnold's career on Sunday Night Football against Washington. And the Saints will never have Saints fans will always have the random 75-yard touchdown to Rashid Shaheed, whether it was from Derek Carr or Spencer Rattler. Amidst a bunch of bad football, they would just have that little pop. And now he takes that to a team that's contending to win arguably the best division in football. Man, all right. Big moves left and right. Does that change anything about what you think the Titans could get for certain star players? Seeing the Colts sending 2 first-rounders for Sauce Gardners. We'll see if more details come out on those, and we'll take your phone call, 615-737-1045. Some big trade deadline news on this Tuesday.
What's going on, noon? Good afternoon from the Circus Sports Studios. I am Robert Walsh. The trade deadline is quickly approaching, and trades are getting fired off. The breaking news from just moments ago, all-pro cornerback Sauce Gardner is being traded from the Jets to the Colts for 2 first-round picks. Tom Pelissero reported it was a player. We now know that player is A.D. Mitchell, second-round pick for the Colts. He is heading to New York in exchange for Sauce Gardner. Also, Rashid Shaheed being traded from the Saints to the Seahawks. We don't know that compensation yet, but we'll keep you updated. The trades from yesterday. You knew Draymond Jones was traded to the Ravens, but maybe you did not know the conditions in which the pick could become a 4th from a 5th. If Draymond Jones has 2 sacks in the regular season and the Baltimore Ravens make the playoffs, that 5th-round pick would become the Baltimore Ravens' 4th-round pick for the Titans. Last night, you saw the Cowboys fall to the Cardinals 27-17, and Jerry said, you know what? I can fix this. Trades for Logan Wilson from the Bengals for a 7th-round pick. He will be competing with former Titans linebacker Kenneth Murray for the starting spot. Like I noted, trade deadline ends today at 3 p.m., but plenty of time for the Titans to make potential moves. So keep it right here on 104.5 The Zone. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right, trades are happening. You just heard it in the update from Robert Walsh. Sauce Gardner is an Indianapolis Colt. Rashid Shaheed is a Seattle Seahawk, and there is reason to believe that there is more to come. Welcome back. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you for another hour before Blaine and Zach take you right up until the deadline at 3 p.m. Central Time. Only Titans move so far still. Draymond Jones traded to the Ravens for a conditional 5th. That could become a 4th, but this is the blockbuster that is taking over right now on deadline day as we are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Go get Hattie B's for lunch today at any one of their 7 Middle Tennessee locations. The Colts are dealing not just 2 first-round draft picks to the New York Jets for Sauce Gardner, the star corner, but also wide receiver A.D. Mitchell, the former Texas Longhorn, makes his way to New York. Now, first of all, Sauce Gardner signed a 4-year, $120 million extension with New York this offseason. A few months later, he becomes an Indianapolis Colt. They are 7-2. They are going all in here. Chris Ballard is in a Super Bowl window, he believes, with the season they are having with Daniel Jones at quarterback, despite the setback that Daniel Jones had with the poor performance last weekend. And they are putting chips in on defense. Could that mean more moves for the Colts? Could that mean a pass rusher added for the Colts? We will see. A 2026 first, a 2027 first, and A.D. Mitchell, the compensation to New York for Sauce Gardner. A massive trade, one of the biggest deadline day trades in recent memory.
Yeah, that's tough. And I hate to look this far ahead, but if I'm a Titans fan, I'm kind of licking my lips at this a little bit because if the Jets needed a quarterback in the first round, like they wanted the first overall pick, but they weren't able to get it because the Titans were also in that in the running for that first round pick, they would have the assets now to move up to the Titans. So if the Titans wanted to trade back with the Jets now have 2 extra first-round picks in the next 2 years. So plenty of ammo to come up to number 1 if the Titans are sitting there, which would give the Titans a treasure trove of picks. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Very interesting.
Because we don't know who has that number 1 pick yet.
No, we don't.
But I would be getting excited.
A.D. Mitchell, the former second-round pick out of Texas, he's in his second year in the league this season. 9 catches for 152 yards. Last season, 23 catches for 312 yards. So he's not been a massively featured piece of that Colts offense. Obviously, or unfortunately for Mitchell, his biggest highlight reel moment this season was one of the biggest reasons the Colts lost at SoFi Stadium. He had the fumble over the goal line that resulted in a touchback Rams football in a game that the Colts lost. It was their only loss of the year up until this past Saturday when the Colts fell to the Steelers. They did not break Rodgers' back, as Seth, the Colts superfan, asked them to. Okay, so you mentioned this to me in the break as well. If the Jets are getting wide receiver help with Adonai Mitchell, what could that potentially mean for Garrett Wilson?
Could be tough, especially if you're disgruntled, but I think adding 2 disgruntled wide receivers, A.D. Mitchell, his time in Indianapolis is kind of sparked by what could have been, what he wasn't on the field, but he was in college. They also have just absolutely no receivers. I don't know if you could name a single
Jets receiver.
Yes, could you name one?
Breece Hall out of the backfield. No, I can't.
It's tough. It's like Tyler Smith, a bunch of nobodies.
Now you got me curious.
Yeah, pull them up. Well, we can. I don't think I can name another one, to be honest. Lazard is there. Alan Lazard.
Yes, he is. He went over with Aaron Rodgers and then was left in Rodgers' dust when Aaron went to Pittsburgh.
I believe Tyler Smith is there, former notable Minnesota receiver.
Ball knower Robert Walsh.
And that's the only ones I can name. But they needed help there. So
Ruckert's a tight end. Yeah,
they do.
Who is T. Johnson?
Oh. Is it Ty Johnson? Is it a running back?
It is Tyler Johnson. He's a receiver.
Oh, that's who I just talked about.
Oh, you said him. I'm sorry.
Okay. So the Colts get Sauce Gardner for the next 5.5 years under a contract worth about $130 million, which as cornerbacks keep getting paid, I assume he will want to redo that deal. But him in Indianapolis for the next 5.5 years.
God, that wide receiver room is dreadful outside of Garrett Wilson.
It is so bad.
Who's a great player. Okay.
We also have compensation for Rashid Shaheed.
Please.
I feel like this is a lot of money for an expiring player.
Do tell.
2026 4th and 5th round picks for Rashid Shaheed.
So you're saying a lot of capital.
You got a lot of capital, yes, a lot of capital. For a rental, for a player that is a really good deep threat, but I wouldn't say he's a complete wide receiver, and this is coming from probably one of the bigger fans of Rashid Shaheed, that's a lot of picks. That's a lot of picks, buddy. I don't know if I would have given that much up for Rashid Shaheed.
And quietly one of the better deep threats in the NFL, right? Easily the most underrated deep threat in the NFL. I mean, he's sitting here Shaheed's on pace for a 1,000-yard season.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
He
got hurt last year.
He did. How many games did he play last year? 6 games last year. So he is at 44 catches for 499 yards, 2 touchdowns in 9 games so far. He's certainly on pace to smash his career high of 719 yards back in 2023. Talented return man as well. So the Seahawks are getting a good player. I mean, do we need to start talking about the Seahawks as a major player in the NFC? I feel like we're all kind of sitting back. Oh, look at Sam Darnold. Look at him. He still got it. They're doing a nice job at the collection of talent. But I haven't heard that word, the contender word, being thrown at the Seattle Seahawks. Do we have to start talking about Seattle in that way, in that division, as they're surrounded by San Francisco and L.A.?
I think you have to. Their coach, Mike McDonald, was one of the first coaches in NFL history to win his first 11 road games as a coach, straight out. And look what he's done with that defense, right? In draft picks, he's got rookies playing at a very high level in Nick Emenwari out of South Carolina. I think you have to look at him, especially as a developing coach. When he was with the Ravens, got a lot out of those defensive players. So I would imagine as the years go, the players that he drafts and finds and refines are going to get better and better. So if we're not going to talk about it now, we have to at least acknowledge that they will be very good for a long time. One of the youngest head coaches in the NFL.
615-737-1045 is how you jump in and hear your reaction to a blockbuster deal. Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts, who are putting their chips in. Is there more to come here? There are just less than 3 hours remaining before the trade deadline at 3 p.m. Central Time. We go to Jim up next in Nashville. Hey, Jim.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good, man. What you got?
The idea of paying attention to what's going on with the winning teams is great, but now the Jets are going to be competing with us. So my question is, when Bergonzi was in Kansas City, they didn't follow the path of chasing a rookie. They traded for Smith and didn't get Mahomes for 4 years, and they were in contention. Packers, they didn't do it like that either. They went and got Love and still used Rodgers for a while. What kind of plan are our guys following? Because now they've got the Jets going to be competing with us for the talent and ourselves. Isn't it time to ask which one of those guys chose Ward and what path are they following?
Thanks for the call, Jim. Now, those two situations, extremely different, right? What Kansas City and Green Bay were going through compared to what the Titans went through. The Titans are in a bottom-up, to say down to the studs would mean everything, right? Jeffrey Simmons, like all the way. So we'll say down to the foundation rebuild. That is not even close to what Green Bay and Kansas City were doing. They were doing it on the fly because they had the luxury to. But in terms of Borgonzi and Brinker and who made that decision to draft Cam Ward number 1 overall, I do believe everybody in that organization was on the same page of drafting Cam Ward, of drafting the best quarterback prospect when you have the number 1 overall pick and you get on in the early outset of this rebuild. Now, you bring up the Jets there, Jim. One thing about the Jets, they've got ammo at this point. I don't know who's going to have the number 1 overall pick when it's all said and done. The Jets currently have, I can't believe we're doing this in early November, but why don't we pull up Tankathon?
There you go. There you go. It feels good, dude. Just look at it.
No, it doesn't.
Just look at it.
It doesn't feel good.
Click on the mock drafts after you're done.
It doesn't feel good. The Saints currently have the number 1 overall pick. The Saints, unless Tyler Shuck has some sort of back half of the season.
He should not. I don't care if that guy becomes Golden Matt Flynn. I'm not. Don't let him stop you from drafting a difference maker at quarterback.
The Saints will be in the market for a quarterback in all likelihood with that number 1 pick. They are 1-8. The Titans are 1-8. They currently hold the number 2 overall pick.
And Jets, they play later in the season, by the way.
The Titans and Saints do play later on in the season. The Jets are 1-7. They currently have the number 3 overall pick. So it's going to be a photo finish, fellas, down to the stretch here for the number 1 overall pick. But the Jets have ammo for when they inevitably try to trade up for a quarterback, whether that's you want to see some mock. God, I can't believe we're doing this. So Fernando Mendoza right now is mocked as the number 1 player overall to the New Orleans Saints.
Wow.
The Indiana quarterback.
What's his brother's name?
Oh, what is his brother's name?
Mangino?
No, they have the same last name.
Bruno? They both have a O name. It's something. Alberto and Fernando.
So right now it's Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore that are kind of in that conversation at the top of the draft at quarterback. We still have the whole month to play in the college football playoff. I don't want to do this right now. It's November 4th. I don't want to do this. 615-737-1045. But point is, Jets have ammo. And whatever team has the luxury of sitting there at number 1 overall without a need at quarterback has an opportunity to get a pretty nice ransom. Listen to me. With the list.
Oh, a ransom.
I'm lisping over here.
What's your favorite type of fish? Is it a bath? Stop being so silly, Lucas, and tell us.
It's not mock draft season yet.
It is mock draft.
No, it's not.
You can look.
Saints got 2 picks back for Rashid Shaheed. Jets got 2 first-rounders for Sauce Gardner. It's getting interesting in regards to the positioning, the jockeying at the top of the NFL draft as this trade deadline ends with some heat on this Tuesday afternoon. So let's hear what Jason Fitz of Yahoo Sports thinks about all of this. We'll talk to him. Also, CFP ranking coming out later on tonight. We'll preview that with Fitz as well as we continue on 104.5 The Zone.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Whew, quite a day. Deadline coming up at 3 p.m. Central Time. If you missed it, the Colts have acquired Jet star cornerback Sauce Gardner in exchange for 2 first-round draft picks. That means the Jets have 2 first-round draft picks in each of the next 2 years. That is ammo, friends. Are they going to be able to do something with it when it's all said and done in terms of getting to the top of the draft? We're not going to know that until the NFL regular season is over. We're just trying to get to the finish line here on deadline day. Welcome back. Lucas Panzica, Robert Walsh with you. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Jason Fitz of Yahoo Sports set to join us in a moment to react to the craziness of today. Lost in the shuffle, Rashid Shaheed heading to Seattle for a pair of draft picks, a 4th and a 6th. And yesterday, you've seen by now, the Titans dealt Draymond Jones to the Baltimore Ravens for a conditional 5th that could become a 4th if Draymond Jones has 2 or more sacks the rest of the year and the Ravens make the playoffs. 615-737-1045 is how you hop in for reaction. Correction, the Saints are receiving a 4th and a 5th for Rashid Shaheed in 2026, not a 4th and a 6th. So, to bring it back to Nashville, when will the Titans, if the Titans, join back in on the fun as we welcome in Jason Fitz of Yahoo Sports? This is nice. No Buck. He acts like he hates vacations, and then he goes to Miami. And we're happy to not have him today. Happy to have you. How's it going, Fitz?
What's he doing in Miami? Like, just decided he's going to Miami for a few days?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Does he work? Just the number of times Buck has a gig and he's like, you know what? Not today, Satan. Not today. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it, but hey, it's good to be Buck.
Yeah, no one wants you to think that he's all ball and just work hard mentality all the time more than Buck and then not execute it. And he is in Miami. He probably doesn't even know that Sauce Gardner is an Indianapolis Colt. What did you make of that move? How stunned were you to see the Jets offloading a player that they gave over $120 million to in an extension this offseason to collect all the first-round draft picks as the Colts push the chips in?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an overpay by Indianapolis, honestly. 2 first-round picks for somebody that is better in reputation right now than he is in play on the field. Like, Sauce is taking a little bit of a dip. There's been some question about whether or not Sauce is really him. Now, he's an upgrade for the Colts. Don't get it wrong. And I think what the Colts are telling you is that, like what we had that moment for the Rams a few years ago where the Rams GM famously went in with FM picks. I think that's where the Colts are. They've woken up. They realized, hey, we are in a Super Bowl window. We didn't know we'd be here. FM picks. Let's go try and win one. So I respect it from the Colts standpoint. Honestly, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Jets too, because they're nowhere close. Like the Jets are at stage one of what's going to be a 5-year rebuild. So what's the point of having Sauce? So if you get multiple first rounders for him, my God, yeah. I mean, I think it's an overpay by the Colts, but it's an overpay because they're chips all the way in. So I think in some ways this actually makes sense for both sides.
Colts still have, areas that can be shored up, right? At edge rusher, you look at Laiatu Latu leading the way with 5 sacks at the midway point. It's a nice pace for the young player, but do you expect any more moves? Will you be surprised if this is all we see for the next couple hours?
I mean, this was more surprising. Like when we left Yahoo Sports Daily this morning, I said, I just don't think there's going to be a big move. The NFL trade deadline isn't really built for big moves, if we're being honest, especially because it's salary cap stuff. Like it's just, I saw some people the other day say, Kyler Murray's going to get traded. And it's like, that's cute. Just tell me you don't understand the salary cap without telling me you don't understand the salary cap. The ramifications are deep and wide on a lot of these. So it's easier said than done to pull off these sorts of trades. I didn't expect the Sauce to be traded. So I don't think there's a bunch of big names on the move. Part of it, I want to credit Dan Graziano. He said something really smart this morning. I think everybody needs to remember, like the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson. Well, the Bengals know that if Trey leaves after the season, they're guaranteed they're going to get a 3rd-round pick for him and compensatory pick in 2027. So whatever you'd have to give the Bengals today would have to be worth so much more in 2026 that they're willing to get rid of one of the few players they have on defense that's worth anything. So they'd have to be willing to totally give up on that side of the ball to see what. Like, that's why they're asking for a 1st-round pick in return. So it's like wins above replacement at this level matters. So I just don't think we'll see another big deal because how many teams are willing to give up a ton of assets right now that would be so much better? How many teams are like the Colts?
I mean, still, though, Fitz, that reeks of just the audacity to me for the Bengals to tell Trey Hendrickson he's not worth a long-term deal and then go around saying they need a 1st-round pick in exchange. All of your logic makes sense there, but I don't know. It doesn't remove the stink for me.
It feels dirty. It feels gross. And like, look, you guys can appreciate that is in the Titans market. There are certain teams in the NFL that are just terrible. So what do you do when you're terrible and you've got somebody that you shouldn't give up because it's only going to make you worse? But what the hell's the point of having him? Like, what exactly is, like, what's the long-term future of the Raiders with Max Crosby? They're just going to waste him every year. The long-term future of Myles Garrett with the Cleveland Browns, they're just going to waste him every year. Right now, the long-term future of Jeffrey Simmons with the Titans, he's going to be a really cool story on a really bad football team for a long time. But you can't trade him because if you trade him, you get rid of the only thing that even gives your fan base some level of hope out there. So, like, there are a bunch of terrible franchises in the NFL this year. In fact, right now, don't look now, but if you extrapolate through, there are 14 teams in the NFL on pace for double-digit losses. 14 teams. That means there's a bunch of just suck out there. And there are some of those teams that have really good players that are just going to hold on to them because they feel like they have to.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Jeffrey Simmons, Jason Fitz of Yahoo Sports with us, because he has been, it seems, a non-negotiable. Every bit of reporting that's come out, Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons off limits. Everybody else wide open. I don't know if you could call it a fire sale, Fitz, when there's been one trade here in the last 24 hours, sending Draymond Jones to Baltimore. But to you, though, that juice is worth the squeeze of keeping a player like Jeffrey Simmons around, despite being as far away as you are, for the cultural element of it, for just having something to hang your hat on there and build around, even if could be into Jeff's 30s before the Titans are meaningfully competitive again, despite what you could potentially get for him after what we just saw with the Colts and Sauce Gardner.
Look, if I'm taking all my heart out of everything and I'm just speaking logically, go trade Jeffrey Simmons. Because you're right. By the time the Titans are good enough to take advantage of him, he's going to be past his prime. So you wasted it, right? So you wasted a great player. But also, like, I do feel all the way to my core, like, what are you giving the city of Nashville to look forward to if you rip this thing down to the studs? Like, I want to believe that Cam Ward is going to be a franchise-saving quarterback, but based on what? Like, I mean, if we're being honest, so far there's been some good, there's been some okay, and there's been some really bad. And we can have the context to why, but more often than not, when you have that guy, it shows itself kind of early. Like you see undeniable flashes kind of early. Like Drake May had a terrible roster around him last year. And, obviously I spent a lot of my time in Connecticut. So I see it firsthand up here. As bad as the Patriots were last year, there was never a question. There was never a doubt in anybody's mind that covered that team. Drake May, future, they're going to build around him. Never a question about it, right? We haven't seen a dang thing from the Vikings, but the Vikings have told you squarely throughout the entire process, nope, we know JJ's our guy. We got a long way to go till we find that out, but we've seen that. Do we really know that for like Caleb, for example? I don't know. It sure seems like there's enough whisper and still like, is Caleb really the answer? Cam's kind of in that same boat. Like, if you want, this is confirmation bias. If you want Cam Ward to be great, then you are going to look at the positives this year and you're going to say, yes, we've got our future. And if you think you got your future quarterback and the Winds are about to turn a corner, then great, you don't get rid of Simmons. But also, if I want to take the confirmation bias that Cam isn't any good, boy, there's plenty of tape I can cut together to fit that also, right? So I think the real answer is we don't know. And that's a problem when you're this far into the rookie year and you just honestly don't have a really good assessment of how your number one overall pick is going to develop. Now, what do? It actually makes it tougher for the organization to justify moving on from anybody because they're sort of stuck in no man's land. Outside of Jeffrey and Cam, though, let's just be honest. I just want to remind Titans fans, the rest of your roster is worth 6th-round picks. So, that's just being honest. Most of these guys are going to get 6th, 7th, maybe you'll get a 5 somewhere. How good is a 5th-round pick to an organization that stinks every year? The answer to that is it isn't. Like, we can trade for draft picks all day long, but the reason most of our favorite teams suck is because they suck at drafting. So why do you want that draft capital? It's damned if you do and damned if you don't. You are stuck on trade deadline if your favorite team stinks.
A team that's trying not to stink, Fitz, is the Jets. You talked about Sauce Gardner, a lot of picks going their way for the ammo to move up for that potential quarterback, but their roster is still chock full of players that would draw some interest on the trade market, whether it's Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams on offense, you got Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson. Do you think this is a fire sale? You think they're going to start shipping off a lot of these players before the deadline today? And who do you think the most likely one would be?
Well, I think if Breece is the most likely next one to go. A lot of rumors, a lot of people talking about Breece going, and you can find another running back. That's what everybody says. We can find another running back, which also to me is the reason why I wouldn't give up a lot in trade equity for Breece Hall, because we can find another running back. So that plays both ways. But I think Breece is the next one to go. The least likely to go of all of them is probably Quinnen Williams, I want to say, but I don't know. When you have an elite young wide receiver, you don't let elite young wide receivers walk out the door either. So especially knowing that they're going to try and use the ammunition to go up for a quarterback and make sure that they have their choice, pick of the litter there, I want to say that Garrett Wilson actually is least likely to be traded, because what's the point of getting, let's say, Fernando Mendoza if you get rid of Garrett Wilson today?
Right, with a team with a lot of holes like that, how hard do you think it is for teams to balance that need of, we need a difference maker, especially when your owner comes out and says, Justin Fields isn't worth a darn. We'd be good if we could only complete a pass. A team like the Titans are dealing with this now, adding a quarterback to a situation like that without all of the holes around him fixed. What kind of a detriment does that do to a rookie quarterback?
It's huge, and I think part of this comes back to why I keep talking about timelines. You guys, if you took a shot every time I talk about timelines on this show and every show, everybody be drunk. But I think, look back at San Francisco. When Kyle Shanahan got that job and Lynch got that job as the GM, when they got those jobs together, at the time they got unprecedented 6-year contracts. Like, that had never been seen. 6-year contracts for both of them. What the organization was saying is like, nope, we get it. It's going to take a minute. What the organization needs to say, what the Jets need to say now is, we get it. We're 3, 4, 5 years away from competing. And if that's the case, we're going to address as many positions as we can. Like, I hear everybody say, just go get a quarterback and it'll make us better. And that certainly worked for Jaden Daniels. There is no doubt about it. Jaden Daniels made Washington so much better. That's the white whale we're all chasing as fans, is we want a Jaden Daniels that makes our team look better. But the real answer to it is, I think the best way to build your team, honestly, is a little bit of what San Francisco did. For years, every year, I was covering the draft for ESPN at the time. Every year, we're like, no, the 49ers got to take a quarterback, and then they didn't, and then they didn't, and then they didn't. And then they stupidly took the wrong quarterback, right? And they didn't even get fired for that, because at the end of the draft, they took a different guy that turned out to work out. But also, they built this really good roster that was ready for a quarterback. And that's, Again, Titans fans just dealt with it. You got the number 1 pick in the draft last year. Nobody's like, great, we get our guy. When's the last number 1 quarterback that was drafted that turned around and made his team an annual Super Bowl contender? It's Burrow. Burrow's the only one. But we can't even say that. Trevor Lawrence might not even be a valuable starter in a year in this league. Like the quarterbacks we're all chasing, the quarterbacks that everybody says, oh my God, I need. Lamar, drafted at the end of the first round. Patrick Mahomes, drafted, 12, 13 off the top of my head, I don't remember. Josh Allen, drafted around that same range. Jalen Hurts, drafted in the second round. Justin Herbert wasn't the first overall pick in the draft. Like, you got to have a competent structure. It doesn't matter how good one ingredient is. If the rest of the ingredients suck, the sandwich is still going to be inedible. And, like, that's what we keep forgetting. So everybody says, oh, we're going to tank. We're going to get the first overall pick. We're going to draft quarterback. We will be saved. And then 3 years later, you're like, why is this not working? Well, it's because that's not how you do it. Like, no one man can lift 53.
Jason Fitz with us. You can hear him every day, 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time on Yahoo Sports Daily. He props up Buck on weekends, Fox Sports Radio, with us on 104.5 The Zone. So lost in the shuffle here as Sauce Gardner is this blockbuster trade, and he's going to Indy. They're pushing for a Super Bowl. Rashid Shaheed, who Robert and I were just talking about, quietly has kind of been the most underrated deep threat in the NFL over the last couple of years. He heads to Seattle off the heels of that incredible Sam Darnold performance on Sunday Night Football. And is it time to start throwing the C word around when it comes to the Seahawks and call them a contender? As what we've seen from them has matched up, and they're going step for step with the Niners and Rams in one of the best divisions in football.
Like, there was a period where we had to just decide Baker Mayfield was no longer the Browns' bust Baker Mayfield. He was just Baker. I think we need to do the same thing with Sam Darnold now. Like, I don't care about what Sam Darnold did everywhere else. I don't care what Sam Darnold did pre-Kyle Shanahan. What I care about right now is that Sam Darnold has absolutely proven. And look, this is where everybody say, well, I got to see it in the playoffs. Okay, if your answer is I got to see it in the playoffs, my question is, you haven't really reliably seen it from Lamar. So I guess you don't want Lamar as your quarterback. Justin Herbert, somebody tell me the last good, key, oh my God, game that Justin Herbert won in his career. The answer is none. But we prop up Justin Herbert constantly, even though he's never done it in the playoffs. Josh Allen can't get to a Super Bowl, so I guess we're out on Josh Allen. Like, where's the stop? Like, if your answer is I got to see it in the playoffs to believe it, then unless you have Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, you might as well not watch football this year. Yeah. So with that caveat being said, the way Sam Darnold is playing right now, he's playing fast. He's reading incredibly well. He's putting the ball exactly where it needs to be, where nobody else can get it on an offense that has, like, I'm sorry, but Jackson Smith and Jigba at this point belongs in the same booth at the club as Jamar Chase and as Justin Jefferson. He's put himself in that same elite category. They've got a two-headed monster at the running back position that's really good, and they've got one of the best scheme defenses in the NFL. Seattle's a Super Bowl contender to me, absolutely, no question. I think they're going to win the NFC West. Their ability to win on the road is absolutely staggering. I really like Seattle. Yeah, maybe Sam Darnold has a meltdown, but you know what? For every Vikings fan that ats me constantly and says, we don't want the bum, we saw who he is in the playoffs last year. I remind you that this year, the Vikings aren't going to go 14-3. You know what sucks more than going 14-3 and watching interceptions in the playoffs? Not making the playoffs. So, like, this quarterback conversation around Sam Darnold needs to change and change fast.
It's hard to switch gears as fun as this deadline day has been. And to your point, we just don't get them that often in the NFL, right? I think Christian McCaffrey, we were talking about it, going from Carolina to San Francisco is the last time that something this splashy happened on deadline day. And here we are. But there is a college football playoff ranking coming out tonight, Fitz. First one of the season. I feel like we've barely had a chance to react to the weekend. What are you watching for tonight? What number next to what team are you most interested in?
So this is going to sound wild, but I'm watching for the number next to Ohio State. We're going to learn, like, the first committee rankings tell you so much about what the committee values, right? So we can have this argument about, like, how's the committee rank Oklahoma and Texas will tell us a little bit of how they value head-to-head. What we're going to find out is how much they value strength of record. Strength of record is an ESPN metric that asks the question, how would the average top 25 team fare against the same schedule that this team faced? Now, I've been lucky enough to actually cover the college football playoff and the committee every year of my professional career. I tell everybody going into week one, the most important thing to see is how much does SOR on ESPN, you can find it on ESPN.com, how much does SOR match what the committee says? Because right now, according to strength of record, Texas A&M is number one, Indiana is number two, and Ohio State is number three. So what they're telling you is that Ohio State hasn't really played anybody, and their game control metrics are through the roof, but the best win in the country this year belongs to Indiana at Oregon, right? Texas A&M has played a much tougher schedule on the whole. Like, we can talk about ranked teams versus unranked teams, but like strength of record, what they're telling you is that Texas A&M has played a tougher schedule. But we've all watched Ohio State, and Ohio State looks absolutely incredible. So does this committee value the eye test above actual analytic metrics? If Ohio State is number one, then it gives you the answer to that is yes. And then every time we apply logic the rest of the year, the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, what does the eye test say? Like, you learn the identity of the committee with the first rankings release.
Jason Fitz, Yahoo Sports with us. The question that's been asked for well over a decade at this point is Texas back, Fitz?
No, Texas isn't back. Like, look, that was a nice win. That was a nice win, and got to give him a lot of credit over Vandy. That was sort of an inexcusable meltdown from Vandy early in that game. And look at how Vandy's built. Like, when they're in a hole like that, you don't really think that that's necessarily the best of what Vandy has to offer. Vandy needs to just sort of throw all that away, put it aside quickly. But look, yeah, Arch had a pretty good game. I would also argue that the first drive of the game, Arch had a throw that was high and outside and late, should have been picked. It could have been a pick six, right? So I got to see sustained greatness from Texas before I think anything is back. I think Vandy came into that game and they were a little asleep for the first 20, 30 minutes. And when that team is a little asleep, they're not built to be that team that has to come back and make a feverish comeback late in the game. They almost did. I thought that onside kick was going to kick. It was going to convert. But no, I'm not willing to buy in on Texas yet.
Jason, when Buck is gone, we get to have more fun and also get more smart about things. So I wanted to ask you this, and I'll give you my example of this before I give you some time to think. Lucas and I were debating this morning on the balcony as I smoked a cigarette. What is the greatest fictional song of all time? Fictional song, a song that was made for a movie but then potentially got popular. My vote, I feel like everyone says Scotty doesn't know just because we've all seen that. My vote was Dracula's Lament from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's hard to believe that things are going to get better. Lucas, what was your submission?
Daddy wasn't there, Austin Powers.
See, and that's good, but I don't think it beats Dracula's Lament. Do you have a greatest fictional song of all time?
I'm about to give you a song that is not fictional, but it is fictional. Follow my logic. The Monster Mash is a song about a dance to a song that we've never heard. The song is about, they did the mash, they did the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. It's a dance to a song, but we've never actually heard the original song, the Monster Mash. So I think the greatest fictional song is the Monster Mash because a real song and a real dance were created around a fictional song.
So you're telling me right now that Tenacious D's A Tribute is basically talking about Monster Mash. It's like, this is not, this is a tribute. It's the same thing as that. That blows my mind. I've never thought of it like that.
Well, Tenacious D was probably on the same number of edibles that I was when I discovered and really figured out that the Monster Mash was like. So again, like I think you got there's just the way you get to that logic. So me and Jack Black, boom, let's go. But no, I'm in on that. I'd never thought of Tenacious D being about Monster Mash. It clearly is.
That's the kind of insight you get from Jason Fitz, Fox Sports, right there.
Knows what he's talking about. Musician, sports talker extraordinaire. Thank you for making us more smart, Fitz.
Most importantly, how high are the pants pulled up this week? That's what I really need to know. How high are the pants
Let's see it.
pulled up?
Get them up there.
Okay, yep.
He could go higher.
No, man. Man,
that's about it.
I think you, okay.
That's about as high. The whole crowd heard it shake when I did that.
I appreciate the commitment to the bit. Also, you should probably write a letter of apology to the pants maker. I'm just saying that's a lot. You're putting them through some work. Love you, boys.
Hey, love
we
you.
were anti-Buck. You know what? Buck should just take this segment off every week. It's better that way.
Agreed.
Don't give him that idea, though. He will. He'll just take it off.
He will.
He'll
He'll walk out of here. Thanks, Fitzy. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
Boys.
At Jason Fitz on Twitter is where you can find him. There you go.
That was a mistake.
Yahoo Sports Daily. Did that hurt?
Yeah, it split them.
Yahoo Sports Daily, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 Eastern, so 8 to 10 Central, and on Fox Sports Radio, again, propping up Buck every Saturday night. CFP ranking coming out tonight. What to expect. We'll react to what Fitzy said, plus give you any more deadline news that's trailing here at the end of the show. We'll wrap things up next on 104.5 The Zone. I get excited when we get near the end of the show because that means it's time for my weekly Hattie B's. Visit any one of their 7 locations, the factory at Franklin, Lower Broadway, Melrose, Midtown, Nashville West, and the Nashville Airport. I mean, there's several things I can tell you. I can tell you Hattie B's is the perfect place to fuel your watch party or tailgate that you can get Hattie B's at Nissan Stadium while you're watching the Titans. HattieB.com. Download the Hattie B's app. You get a free dessert just by doing so. But I especially want to tell you that Thanksgiving is getting hot with Hattie B's. That's right. They can cater your Thanksgiving and spicy it up for any size gathering. Traditional sides, upgraded editions. You create your own custom meal without any of the hassle. Guys, whole fried turkey, cheesy hot chicken dip, whipped potatoes, Bishop's carrot souffle. Mouth is watering just thinking about it. The thing is, they run out. You got to place your order today while supplies last. Don't spend the entire day in the kitchen cooking for your whole family. Just lay back, watch some football, enjoy it, and let Hattie B's take care of it and make your Thanksgiving hot this year with Hattie B's. So what is this from? I'm not familiar.
You've never heard of Killer Tofu?
From a movie?
It's not a movie. It's a TV show. You ever heard of Doug Funny?
Doug Funny?
and Skeeter and Patty Mayonnaise. You don't know anything about Doug Funny?
No.
All right, so the Beats. It's a fictional band making fun of the Beatles inside of Doug Funny's world. I don't even remember what that show was called. I think it was I can't. It's killing me. Hold on. I got you.
Killer Tofu.
Yes, but Killer Tofu. And Ann in the F&M Bank chat reminded me of this, and I could not keep myself from playing it. Could not keep myself. It was just Doug. The show was Doug.
Oh, Doug. Yeah, cartoon, right?
I kept wanting to say, that reminds you. After I said his name.
You said Doug Funny.
That's his last name.
Oh, okay. I do remember Doug.
You don't remember Skeeter? You don't remember Patty Mayonnaise?
I mean, I remember Doug. I don't remember, like, watching Doug or the ins and outs of Doug.
What was the bully's name?
Doug, like, didn't come close to Hey Arnold or Arthur.
Rocco's Modern Life. Did you watch that?
No.
Dude, you're such a...
Rocket Power? Like, these are the shows I watch.
Woogity.
Yeah, come on.
I can get down with that.
All right, so it's a good submission by Ann. Crazy day. Always fun when the NFL trade deadline delivers like this. Sauce Gardner, I mean, you've heard it by now, is an Indianapolis Colt. As the Colts send A.D. Mitchell to the Jets, and they get in return Sauce Gardner, one of the best cornerbacks in the game, and 2 first-round draft picks, 2026 and a 2027. Rashid Shaheed up to Seattle for a pair of draft picks as well. Albert Breer adds of SI, the Jags and Seahawks, because Jacoby Myers is a Jacksonville Jaguar as well. The Jaguars and Seahawks did the trades for Jacoby Myers and Rashid Shaheed, respectively, without new contracts in place. So both of them arrive in their new homes as rentals on expiring deals. So they will still be free agents by the end of the season. Titans have not done anything beyond the trade of Roger McCreary last week and Draymond Jones last night to Baltimore for the conditional 5th, and still a couple hours before that changes. So Cover 2 will have you covered to that point. Kevin Dyson in for Blaine Bishop today.
Very nice.
It'd be great to see Dr. Dyson.
Are you someone who likes rumors, or do you just like to deal with the cold, hard facts?
A little bit of both.
Some of the rumors going around is that watch the Broncos for another big trade.
I saw Jordan Schultz tweet something to that effect.
Oh, okay. So we have Jordan Palmer also. NFL Network, right? I saw his name.
Formerly.
And his big dumb haircut. And then I was like, oh, I know that cat.
Formerly.
So keep an eye on the Broncos. I am, for one, love rumors. I can't help but, when those coaching confidentials come out and it's like, this anonymous coach said that Dabo Sweeney's got a big belly and a little body. I love those because you get to go, okay, who would have possibly said this about him? When rumors come out, I just need someone to give me the Charlie Venn diagram of like the strings attaching each theory to each theory.
Pepe Sylvia.
I cannot get enough of the rumors, even if they never come to fruition.
Love the album.
That was dumb.
CFP, I'm sorry. We're almost done.
It's me calling it dumb, though, so you just have to realize that I do 17 of those a day.
CFP rankings come out tonight. I think the committee is going to rank Indiana as the number 1 team in the country.
Do you think they should?
Why not? I mean, it's whatever, man.
I don't care. Tennessee's out of the playoff race.
There is something to that. The Vols being pretty much out of it, like the goalposts moving the way they do, and it's a new committee, right? There's new people in place, and what are they going to value over what was previously valued? Watching those goalposts move won't be as stressful. This is how I'm consoling myself about Tennessee losing a third game to Oklahoma. It's okay. I don't have to be stressed anymore. But I do, because it reminds me of 2022, Robert, when Tennessee was, and obviously Tennessee, like, understand what Indiana's doing right now is insane. And they're not the program even as bad as Tennessee has been, that Tennessee has been historically. But in 2022, Tennessee was the unexpected bursting onto the scene, year 2 of Josh Heupel. Whoa, here they are. They're 7-0. They're 8-0. They're the number 1 team in the country, just like that. And they had come out of nowhere, and they had the best win in the country at the time, beating number 1 Alabama at home. That's kind of Indiana this year. They're doing it again, what they did last year, something that nobody expected. And they have the best win in the country at Oregon, to Jason Fitz's point. So I know he mentioned A&M technically has the best strength of record overall per ESPN's metrics. But Indiana does have the best win. And I feel like that carries more weight. What am I saying? I don't know what this committee is going to pick and choose on what carries more weight and what doesn't.
I miss the robots. I miss when
you missed the BCS.
I miss when the robots picked it.
See,
because then we can be like, "You dumb clanker, you got it wrong."
It won't be long before we got to dump you for saying that. By the way,
clanker,
I think we're getting there.
You think that that's eventually going to be a slur? Get these clank. You bring your daughter brings home an Android. It's like, get this clanker out of here.
You better get it out of your system before it's illegal.
I'm set in my ways. I hate them. I hate them. Tag them robots. I don't need you to sweep my floor. I would love you to fold my clothes, though. If somebody would make a robot that folded clothes, I'd be so in.
Let's do some polls.
The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the most trusted Ford dealer in all of the South. What made you say, oh, no, in sports this week? We got Tyler Dial saying SNL's Nashville Predators in the community skit was very well done on SNL's part. Det saying the Titans scoring every kind of touchdown but an offensive one.
It's tough, especially after what could be considered Cam Ward's best performance of the season the week prior. He was good against Indy, right? They were moving the ball. They weren't able to finish drives the way they wanted, but for the offense to fall off in that way, and obviously the turning point, not converting on a 4th and goal at the 1, yeah, tough day for the offense to not come up with a touchdown when your defense and special teams played a role.
Will the Titans make another move before the 3 p.m. deadline? 67% say yes, 32% say no. But right now, the no's have it. The Titans have not made another move. Still got a little bit of time, though.
Yep, a couple hours. Keep an eye on Chigakonkwo, Tavandre Sweat, Arden Key, maybe Tony Pollard.
Is Cam Ward better, worse, or right at what you expected him to be at 9 weeks in? 7% say he's better than they thought he would be. 48% say he's worse, and 44% say right where I expected. Worse wins it.
We can talk more about this later this week. We had it in for today, and then the Colts got Sauce Gardner in a trade. So, yeah, I think we can do kind of a bye-week vibe check on Cam Ward's rookie season maybe tomorrow.
Will Vandy be in or out of the top 15 in tonight's CFP ranking? 45% say in, 55% say out. How many of those people that voted were hopeful Titans or Vols fans that just do not want Vanderbilt to? You can't. If we're not going, you're not going.
Well, it's all going to kind of take care of itself, right? If Vanderbilt slips up against Auburn, very disappointed, by the way, that Diego Pavia doesn't get the chance to go 4-0 against Hugh Freeze, as he was fired, and Vandy will host Auburn this week. But if Vandy rolls into Knoxville with 2 losses, then it'll be up to Tennessee to knock Vandy out of the playoff. But they're 15 in the AP poll. We'll see just how much the committee values their wins over LSU and Missouri.
Those are the polls.
Those are the polls. That's the show. Fun show. Busy show. How about a fun trade deadline day in the NFL? Appreciate it while we got it. We'll be back at it tomorrow. David Ubben will recap the playoff ranking, more Titans discussion. Mike Borgonzi meets with the media right off the top. But cover 2 with Zach and Kevin Dyson. Got you next on 104.5 The Zone.